Alright, looks like we are live on YouTube. Oh, come on, man. Okay, I have a message saying that we are live, but my Twitch channel is not showing that. Because Science Teacher, are you seeing that on Twitch or are you seeing that on YouTube?
You are live on YouTube.
Oh yeah, we're good on YouTube. Yep. Twitch, however, at least according to my computer, is not catching a clue.
Oh no, you're live on Twitch.
Awesome. So it's just my my client then. There we go, finally. That took like literally forever. I will wait for the Twitch ad to stop, then I will play our ad, and then we'll get started.
Are you looking to become a Tier 1 operator in the gaming world? Elevate your games with Blacksite Studio Terrain. Alrighty, everybody. We are live and we're ready to get started. Thanks, everybody, for coming out. Today is going to be a exercise in, what's the word here? I don't want to say futility, but an exercise in, yeah, we're in the delivery room. It's time to spank that baby on his ass. We are kind of starting the design and playtesting work, the pre-alpha system, the pre-beta phase, or alpha phase, I should say, on a, extra fan going on my computer here, on a new role-playing system. So, I am joined by my friend Dylan from Australia. Thanks very much for joining me, sir.
Morning, everyone.
Hello, Mr. Ralph Holland over there in the UK. How you doing, sir? Mr. Ralph, we missed you at the recording this morning or this afternoon. But yeah, we took care of it. No worries. But here we are. All right, guys. Like I was saying in the well, you guys aren't going to hear that yet because that recording was done today, but you're not going to get it for about a week. So sorry. Let me go ahead and skip that. We're trying a new. We're trying to diversify what we're doing on these Sunday streams. Because for the modern aspect, the modern warfare aspect here on Sitrep, a lot of our weekend streams, our weekend war games, have been bouncing back and forth between Panzer Leader and Valor and Victory, and Panzer Leader and Valor and Victory, and Panzer Leader and Valor and Victory. I can play Panzer Leader and Valor and Victory until the whatchamacallit, until the apocalypse, really. But the what was I going to say? I'm afraid that the audience might start to get, think it's a little stale. So I'm always trying to come up with new ways that we can do modern stuff here in our Sunday streams. We had Air War C-21 for a while. We can always go back to that, but for the moment that didn't seem to be really taken off. And for a super niche solution, we had Naval Command, which is great if you're into naval combat, modern naval combat. But there aren't too many opportunities to do that in a historical sense. And that's a super a niche kind of a thing. So I've got some friends locally, and here in the States that have been asking me to get back into role playing. I know I'm usually like a wargaming guy, but back in the day I was huge into running role playing games. I ran modern era role playing games, Twilight 2000, the old White Wolf series. Or I should say the old Storyteller series by White Wolf back in the 90s, back when it was good. Sorry. I'm just kidding, everybody. And things like that. So, Millennium's End, I already said Twilight 2000, GURPS Moderns, stuff like that. So, people have been asking me about it, and I thought, hey, let me go and try and kill two birds with one stone with a system focused on narrative storytelling with a little bit of tactical realism thrown in there, but most specifically, what's the word I'm looking for here? Formulated, formatted, designed, from the very outset for this kind of platform, for, either on a webinar or on Discord or on Skype or some other kind of a shared desktop experience, where people can play online because, role-playing gamers, war gamers are few and far between, moderns even more so. And obviously, like today, I'm gaming with somebody in Australia, literally on the other side of the planet. So I have to travel the earth in a virtual sense to kind of, get gamers going. So in order for me to get this system going so that it plays, I want to design it from the start to be web-based. So the working title is HK Ops Hunter Killer. It's a working title. I literally just tried to think of something that sounded vaguely badass. I have no idea what we're going to do here. It is being built so that we can do it in one of three ways. Number one, you can play as a formal military person, top-notch operator or whatever. SAS, SBS, Army Rangers, Delta Force, who knows what, a formal military, special forces, kind of a guy. You can play as a regular soldier too, just you might not last too long. But, it's obviously the enemies you're going to be facing are usually either, normal military or even militia or who knows what, insurgents. So there's definitely going to be a few against many kind of an element there, number one. And number two, okay, so that was number one. Number two, okay, let me go back to number one first. So formal military is definitely the first option. The problem here, and if anyone wants to chime in on the chat, or if you got thoughts on this, Dylan, just please interrupt me. I've always had, I've been doing this for 25, 30 years. I am a little rusty. I kind of swore off role-playing games in 2010. And it's almost a decade now before I even kind of dip my toe back into it. So I do confess that I am a little rusty. But before that time, I'm actually not kidding. People used to take vacation time and get on planes and fly across the country to be in our role playing games. I was pretty good at this. That said, I am really rusty, so everyone kind of just please bear with me. But one thing I always notice with military role playing games, they can be a little difficult for a couple of unexpected reasons. Number one, most of the group has to be from the same country. And sometimes that can rub people the wrong way, especially if you have a multinational kind of a gaming group. Number two, not to get all, hashtag me too about it, but it's tough to play a female character in a realistic military party, so to speak. It's not impossible, but it is difficult, and you have to come up with a pretty serious backstory as to how a female SEAL is running around with everybody else. That's it's tough. It's a tough sell. And number three, the problem with option one, formal military role playing, I find, is that when you do it right, all parties in a role playing game always have a party leader. Obviously, people do that all the time. In the military, it's like party leader squared. You will do what the officer in charge says, or it's mutiny. And I've found that what that happens sometimes, or what that leads to sometimes, is a loss of player agency, which I don't think is terribly cool. One thing you don't want to do in a role-playing game, again, I've done this for 20 years, one thing you never want to do in a role-playing game is take away player agency. Ever, ever, ever. You don't want to railroad the characters. The problem is in the military, you get railroaded a lot. I can tell you from personal experience. You get orders, you do A, and you don't ask questions. And the person that's put in charge of you, his word is literal law. As in, disobeying him is a federal crime. So, it can be tough to maintain player agency in a true, realistic military role-playing game. All that said, military is fun to play. But that leads us to option two, which is a PMC kind of a thing, private military contractor, something like Blackwater or who knows what. Make up our own company, obviously. Now you can have players from all over the world kind of join your group, or characters, I should say, from all over the world. You can have somebody from Norway in your crew, somebody from South Africa, somebody from Bangladesh, for all I care. People get hired. It's a multinational corporate world. And of course, that also resolves the gender issue. And okay, yeah, there's still somebody in charge, but it's a little more, realistic as far as, doing what the boss says. I mean, you're going to get the mission, and you're going to go. You're going to be contracted to do this. So that takes care of the traditional tavern scene in RPGs that everyone loves to talk about. But at the same time, once you're in the field and the guy in charge says, charge that Syrian machine gun nest, and you can say, no, sir, I'd rather we outflank it, you have a little more leeway, I feel. I mean, I've never been to PMC, but I get the idea that you get a little bit more of a leeway there. And then if you want to continue that trend and you want to go to full freedom or whatever, we can always try post-apocalypse. The world has, shit the bed because reasons. And, now you've got... 3 or 4 random people. The trick there is that you may not be like a tier 1 operator. You may just be, Michonne with a samurai sword or something. And you have complete freedom. In fact, you have too much freedom, if anything. And the only problem there is that good technology and good supplies, medical supplies, ammunition is going to be hard to come by. Especially shotgun ammunition you're never going to have a problem with. But that really nice, high tolerance M82A1, or that Macmillan 50 caliber sniper rifle that you've been carrying through Afghanistan that you love so much. Once you fire your last bullet there, you're going to have a hell of a time finding more ammunition for that thing. So supplies is going to be a problem. Medical supplies is going to be a problem. Advanced training is going to be a problem. If you wanted that 4th dot in, surgery, if you're a medical guy or whatever, in the post-apocalypse, you can't exactly, put in for a transfer to Fort Bragg and, get your, 2 years of training in there in a post-apocalyptic setting. So, all 3 choices are on the table, and all 3 choices are going to have their merits and flaws, so to speak. Don't I mean tier 1 operator? That's right. Roll D20. Ralph, I've seen the roll D20 system. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of something else. You're talking about the Roll D20 online platform. Yep.
Yep. Yep. I've actually used that to run Only War, the 40k squad based RPG.
Really?
So you can do it. Yeah, you can do it. You just have to spend a lot of time prepping it. It takes a lot of prep work.
Oh, well, yeah. Okay, well maybe. Um, does it support like what are some of the advantages? Like what does it support? Say, and please don't worry about hurting my feelings, but like if any advantages would it offer over something like this? Like
Um,
it has
the
it
map is
has.
pretty much exactly the same. The map is actually worse, to be honest.
Okay.
You get every player's character sheet is already inbuilt into the program, and the TO can actually send people private messages, which you can just do on here anyway.
Yeah.
But it's almost like it's reducing your amount of windows you have to have open. Really,
Okay. That might
got a
work.
dice roll, of character sheets, that sort of thing.
Yeah, character sheets, dice roller, Ralph runs Star Wars in it. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's the one thing that this doesn't have. This doesn't have a dice roller in it. There's a couple ways to do it. I've kicked around with small windows and tools. Technically, this is running in Excel. Any kind of a rand if function can do it. The problem
Mm.
is, to kick open my thing, is, a lot of games we were toying around with the idea of running Darkstar in a dice emulator. The problem there is that people who play Darkstar, you're always rolling different sizes of dice and different numbers of dice. So a game like Valor and Victory, or even better, Panzer Leader, you're always rolling 1d6. Valor and Victory,
Yep.
you're usually rolling 2d6, maybe 1d6, and that's it. That kind of a solution would work great for those games. For this kind of game, maybe not. Speaking of dice, what we're going to need today, Dylan, is as many d10s as you can muster. We're looking hopefully at about 10 d10s if you have it. If not, no worries, but
I'll
some
see what I can find. Give me
some
one
decent
second so I don't
amount of d10s.
deafen you all with with noise.
No, no worries. Yeah, I've heard good things about D20. D20. What's the other one? Virtual tabletop. If I'm getting that name right. Now, while he's looking for dice, everybody, what we were looking for here is kind of a last minute idea just to try something new, so that we're not always playing Valor and Victory and Panzer Leader every Sunday. Again, we can always go back to Air War C-21. Naval Command is kind of a corner case, but again, that option remains open. But we're trying to get web-friendly and community-friendly modern gaming going every Sunday as much as we can. So right now, me and Dylan are on a web conference package. So if we had more than one person in the party, we could easily handle that. We just have more people on the call. And let's see what's going on here. Type of dice makes things easier. Yep. Look at D20. I can create you a freak. Let me kick this thing around a little bit, Ralph, and we'll give it a try. Because I don't know if the system I have here is going to be the best for this particular solution. It works great for Darkstar, Panzer Leader, Valor, and Victory. It might not be the best for this, but I'll have to see. This thing, and the reason I'm being very vague on all these, hey, we'll see how it goes, is I made up my mind to go ahead and do this Friday afternoon on my lunch hour. I was like, what would be fun to do on Sunday? Let's try a role-playing game. I had a big Darkstar game to run yesterday, so I didn't get too much time to work on it. Last night, I designed the character sheet and designed these little playable figures here that can move around on the map that you see. Some of them I drew myself, some of them I found on the web. I'm going to eventually obviously draw all of them because I don't exactly like the ones they've got. But I've gotten pretty good at drawing them already, so no worries there. And today, before and after the recording, I was finished up the combat system, finished up the medical system, the gear system. Pretty much this game is 48. The idea for this game is 48 hours old. So we are in pre-alpha phase. And hopefully we're going to show you what we've come up with so far. Maybe run through a sample encounter and see how it works. So here's our character sheet.
Did you get the ones that I emailed you, Jim?
Oh yes, I did.
Awesome.
Yeah, when you get a chance to look at the character, a chance to look at the spreadsheet. Oh, it doesn't quite go down that far. Okay, never mind. I was going to say you can see a Trevor Michaels and a William Simmons tab in this workbook here.
Oh, cool.
But yes, I got them. All right, so here's our character sheet. As you can tell right off the bat, from a design perspective, this thing is built for web play. In other words, it's meant, as you can see on the spread, the character sheet is built fundamentally to fit on a 16 by 9 screen, as opposed to 8.5 by 11 or an A4 sheet of paper. So yeah, we're definitely aiming at a we're definitely aiming at a web experience here. Like I said, I literally built this last night at like 2 in the morning, guys. So bear with me about its simplicity. Buzz through the character sheet super fast. We have basic stuff. Here's your name. Here's your nationality. Here's your background. Background being, cop, college student, army brat, something like that. Just a little bit of, information about, where your operator comes from. Organization. Again, this might be, Navy SEALs, Delta Force, guy down the street. If we're playing post-apocalyptic, who knows if this is going to be a private military contracting company. Current unit would be like SEAL Team 6 or a certain MARSOC unit or who knows what. A certain squadron of the SAS. A certain squadron of the SAS or the SBS. And current status. So this is more of a campaign thing. Current status is active, wounded, you're being investigated, because you shot a civilian. I mean, who knows what's happening. This is pretty much, are you on the shelf right now or not, is how that part of it works. Appearance, again, if you want to talk about what your character looks like, and, personality. I can already tell, and Dylan can probably back me up on this, that personality cell is way too small. That was supposed to be like a couple words, and the character sheets that Dylan filled out last night, kind of blew the.
That may be my fault.
No,
I'm used to when we do our RPGs, we have to actually justify every single stat point that we buy. So I'm used to writing tons and tons of.
If you haven't played this system before, well, obviously you haven't. The system was invented last night, but the DNA, which I have shamelessly stolen to run this system. If you ever play White Wolf, any kind of storyteller system?
No, I've never played those.
You will love this system. This is literally, they call it the storyteller system for a reason. It is hands down the best role-playing system ever designed. Period. And I say system on purpose because I don't know if you like the setting. I'm not going to say it's the best setting in the world. In fact, the new second generation kind of shit the bed on the setting. I think they ruined a lot of the setting. I think they know that now because they just rebooted the old setting, so go figure. But the basic system, which I have hopefully changed out of some recognition, but people who are familiar with the storyteller system are going to see the DNA. They're going to catch the whiff of it here. I think you're going to like this system. This is a system built around storytelling where, that personality block is way too small. Usually you get like a 3,000 word essay with your character or whatever. Hey, here's my guy. I worked him up last night. This is a system built for narrative players. It's a system built for storytellers. Players are not even really called players. They're called like assistant storytellers. They don't call you the DM in that system. They call it the storyteller. And, kind of the same thing. Almost every dot is talked about somehow. Before you're able to buy a new dot, even if you have the experience for it, you better have a story reason for it, that kind of thing. So, here are the attributes, everybody, super fast. Basic attributes. They're divided into two basic sections. One is tactical and one is street. That's just my cheesy names for it. Pretty much this is stuff you use, and you really use them both in combat. But strength, dexterity, stamina, and agility. Dexterity is more hand-eye coordination, and agility is like full body. What's the word? Balance. That kind of thing. That
Yep.
distinction between dexterity and agility I took from Renegade Legion's role-playing game. This thing is a Frankenstein's monster of like 20 different role-playing systems all kind of jumbled together. Basically, if you're going to pilot an aircraft, anything that you're using like your whole body, your legs, your feet, your balance, your core, you're using agility.
Yep.
So a kick is going to be based on agility. A punch is going to be based on dexterity. Shooting is based on dexterity. Dodge is based on agility. So there is a little bit of a distinction there. We got stamina. That's pretty easy. Strength, obviously. Education. This is pretty much your character's book smarts. May or may not be useful on the battlefield, but it, there are things. Not every game is going to take place on the battlefield, so there's definitely a reason for that. Savvy is sort of a combination of what White Wolf used to call perception and wits. This is pretty much your ability to, not perception and wits. I'm sorry, perception and manipulation. This is the ability to talk to people, read people, understand what people are thinking, feeling, take advantage of people if you're not so nice a person, help people out if you're a nice person. It's more like your people skills. So if
Yep.
education is how big your brain is and how deep your brain is, wit is how fast your brain is. So education is your hard drive, wit is your processor. If you were in the Matrix. Wit is an important one. Yeah, it's pretty much whenever you have to do something really, really fast. Wits plus tactics determines your initiative. So that's a pretty important combination there. And charm is really any kind of people skills. The original White Wolf system had a charisma and an appearance score. I decided to ditch the appearance score because who really cares that much? Granted, White Wolf, half of those games took place in nightclubs, and they did. It was
Sounds really cool. Actually.
goth vampire. Oh my god, dude! You guys know me. You guys know what kind of games I like, what kind of settings I like. That shit got me. This is back in 1991, back when Anne Rice and before Twilight ruined vampires forever. That thing got me into the whole. They call it World of Darkness now. When I played it, they called it Gothic Punk, and it was badass. It's a beautiful system from which I have shamelessly stolen here. And okay, so those are the attributes. After that, we have 6 schools of skills. This is going to be so fluid. We're going to have to change a bunch of stuff on here. I know there's already holes in it. But there are basically 6 schools, and these are your skills. Okay? As far as what skill goes with which ability, I'm sorry, which skill goes with which attribute, that depends on the situation. So
Yep.
dexterity plus pistol, that's pretty obvious. You're shooting at someone, you use dex plus pistol, fine, no problem. You show up at a murder scene and you want to find out, or you show up at a murder scene and you find a brass casing on the ground, identify it. That might be savvy plus pistol. Charisma plus pistol. You're trying to charm, so you're trying to fast talk somebody into getting buying a pistol on the black market or something like that. Investigate. Who knows? Any
Yep.
one of these skills can conceivably be combined with any tactical attribute, tactical or street attribute. So, and those are the attributes. We'll fill out your guy's kit here in just a few minutes. Here's the wound table. You start off with taking wounds. Okay, so you take 1 point of damage, you take 2 points of damage, you take 3 points of damage. There are no hit points in this game, everyone. So what we've got here is the enemy gets a certain amount of dice he's trying to hit you with for damage or whatever, and rather than the damage always does. The damage always does X amount of damage. What makes you tough or weak is based on how many hit points you have, or hit levels, or health levels, or who knows what. White Wolf system doesn't do that, and I'm not doing that here. Everyone always has 10 health levels. However, if you're strong or tough, that's mostly on your stamina, also on any body armor you might be carrying, cover you might be hiding behind. Whenever it comes time to take damage, the enemy's target number to damage you is going to be higher or lower. And that's where you get your toughness or your, whether you're tough or you're weak. as far as taking damage goes. As you take damage, this little number on the side, this starts taking off of your dice pool. So your character gets slower, clumsier, weaker as he continues to take damage. As long as you're in the green, you're fine. Once you're in the yellow, you take an additional level of damage just from being wounded. You're bleeding out. Once you get to the red, you're losing 2 levels a turn. And of course, once you're black, you're dead.
Yep.
That can be stabilized by a first aid check. You can do first aid checks on yourself as long as you're not in the red. So, you can kind of patch yourself up. Once you're in the red, you really need a medic, and that medic had better be there right now. So this is going to be a pretty killy game, I think.
Nice.
So, yeah, there's no healing potions. There's no health bags. This isn't Doom. This isn't Lord of the Rings. This isn't Fortnite. We are going for a somewhat realistic feel here. It'll be a little cinematic. You're always going to be 10 times better than the enemy or whatever because, again, there's no healing, there's no resurrection, there's no health packs, there's no, I found a bandage. Oh, look, that bullet, that my limb is reattached. There's not going to be any of that. But if you put too much realism into that, you're pretty much going to have, total party kills all the time. So you have to be careful. So, like I said, I designed this system last night. I finished at about 2 in the morning. Then I sent a copy of this sheet over to Dylan, because Dylan is, 14 hours ahead of us over there in Australia?
Yeah, it was about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I think.
Yeah, and I was like, hey, this is what we're doing tomorrow. If you want to take a look at it, maybe get some ideas. So his idea of some ideas is I'm going to go ahead and completely create 2 characters. So what I thought we were going to be talking about for the first hour of the stream is already done. Which I think is actually pretty damn cool. Okay, again, I'm not sure with what role-playing systems most people are familiar with. So, just to go through some of the basics, the system here, there's no dice rolling. You don't roll for strength, con, wisdom, any of that shit. You get a certain amount of points that you can assign to different areas of your sheet, and after that, within that budget, it's up to you. You get to build your character from the ground up. So everyone starts off free with 1 dot, or one box. They go from 1 to 6, which is a change from Storyteller system. You go from 1 to 6, and you get 1 dot in each ability. Each attribute. Okay, everybody has some strength. You can crush a beer can. All right. Everybody has some dex. You can tie your shoes. Stamina, you can walk up a flight of stairs. Agility, you can walk. I'm not going to have people, having to pay for the ability to, go up a flight of stairs. Same with education. Everyone has at least a high school education or whatever. Savvy, wit, charm, or whatever, fine. After that, you get a certain amount of points to spend in each of these areas. You'll notice that some of the blocks are blue, and this block here is dark blue. So once you hit a light blue, it costs double points. And in character creation, you're not allowed to start in 6. No Einsteins allowed. Number 1, you would have 0 on everything else. You would be literally Einstein. Really smart guy. Just don't get him into a firefight in Afghanistan somewhere. He's not going to do very well. You're going to see that hair coming from a mile away. But yeah, it's, now later on you can build those up with experience points, but they do get more expensive once they hit the blue and once they hit the dark blue. The skill on the bottom is like the highest skill in that school. So like in vehicles, everyone knows how to drive a car. Oops. So you start off with 1 free dot. Oh, sorry, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. All right, so now we go down to skills. You start off with 1 free dot in every school. The ones that were here in like this brownish color are the ones that are assigned. Oh, hold on. All right, I'll turn off my phone here. Okay, so the ones that are assigned are in this dark color here. Grenade. Everyone knows how to throw a baseball. Or everyone in the army threw at least 1 grenade at Paris Island or Fort Bragg or who knows where, okay? Wheeled vehicle. Everyone can drive a car. Tactics. When the enemy shoots at you, you hit the deck. Pistol. Everyone knows how to shoot a pistol. Everyone's played a game at least once. And brawl. Everyone knows how to throw a punch. Okay, so then over here you get one free dot in everything, but it's not. It's left open to what free dot you want to put in those abilities, as long as it's not the advanced ability at the bottom of each school. So, character creation. Each school gets one box. Some are indicated. 15 more tactical skills. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I believe you kind of gypped yourself a little bit, sir, on your character attributes.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so again, this one, I'll make them a different color for now. This one and this one. I'll just make them, I don't care, this color for now. Okay, those orange ones, those are free.
Okay, they don't count as part of the 15.
No, they do not count as part of the 15. Like I said, everyone joins the army knowing how to drive a car. Or, hey, those guys with guns, those might be a problem. That's your first out in tactics. Brawl strikes, everyone knows how to throw a punch. So you get one free one somewhere in support. As long as it's not in the, in guided missile, you're fine. So for Trevor Michaels, where do you want to put your one free dot?
I'll put it in rocket.
All right, cool.
Because science teacher, I think ranged melee is throwing knives or stuff like that.
Ranged melee, yeah, okay, that's a good question. Ranged melee is throwing knives would work. What I was picturing more was crossbows or longbows.
Oh, okay.
All right, so there's the free dot. Now you have 15 more that you can put in any of these abilities. 15 in tactical, 15 in street. Again, the character points are split between the tactical and the street and the experience points. If I give you, 6 experience points at the end of a session, you have to put 3 in tactical and 3 in street.
Oh, okay, yep.
This way we don't end up with any Rambos, where all they know is war. And I'm sure they're fun to play, but they're going to turn into, power players or whatever and unrealistic characters.
Yep.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, you've got 5 more points to put into your tactical abilities.
Okay, I'll put 2 on rifle.
All right.
Hey, Rasmus.
Mr. Rasmus, how you doing, sir? Oh man, I'm like behind on the chat. Sorry. Okay.
1 more on mortar.
He wants that mortar.
So 1, 2, 3.
Grab this one here. Okay.
Another one on grenade, and 1 on traps.
Traps. Cool. So another one on grenade. Where was grenade? Okay, gotcha. And 1 on traps. Traps is... God, I don't remember where the hell I put this. Oh, that's down here. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's going to be for both spotting and setting. Either explosive or non-explosive. Okay, cool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. There we go. All right, cool. Now, for your street attributes, well, your street attributes are set, but your street abilities, again, you get 1 free in each one. There were none marked on the map because, who knows what any of these are going to be.
Yep. Okay, I'll put 1 in financials.
Financials for investigation.
Yep.
All right.
I figure he was a lawyer, so he'd probably...
1, 2, 3, 4. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to law. This is one of the updates I want to make. Law/business/ law/business. I'll just put it that way. Basic, suit stuff. Maybe I'll name it suit because I wanted one for psychology.
Okay. Yep. Well, in that case, I'll just one, two, three. Well, I'll say that the ones in technology, field ops, and medicine are all the free ones, and then put another two into law and business.
Okay.
Should simulate someone who's been a working lawyer for a few years.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay. Okay, so this one we'll say was your free one, and then you want to put more into
Yep.
law and business?
Yeah, I'll put
Okay.
one or two more. I don't know
That's
how many
one.
points I've got left.
You have plenty, but once you hit the light blue, they cost double.
Yeah, that's all right. Yep.
Okay, so one. So again, you know what? I'm just gonna do super fast. So I don't get totally confused because I'm easily confused these days, especially when I have like 4 hours of sleep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That blue one costs you 2. You've got 2 points left.
Put them both in wounds.
Terrain nav. Okay, so field ops.
Oh, terrain now?
Oh, you know what? Yeah, wounds is a good one too. I don't. Oh, do you have any? Does your other guy have any kind of medical stuff? You've got another medic.
Okay.
This one here is. This is how good you are in the field. Terrain nav is pretty much your running, climbing, jumping, anything that any kind
Okay.
of stealth check.
I'll
Base camp
I'll
is how
put
to.
two in that.
All right.
Oh, sorry. What? No, sorry. What was that, Jim? Base camp.
A base camp is that's super basic. You've been in the field, cooking in the field, setting up a camp, not getting not getting flooded with water. Hunting, fishing. I'm not gonna. Some some role playing games will have a skill for climbing. Here's your climb for swimming. Jumping over a rock. You know what? Never mind. Terrain nav. As long as the ground isn't completely flat, you use terrain nav. If you're trying to climb a tree, if you're trying to do anything like super basic. Base camp is pretty much living in the field. Finding
Yep.
food if you run out of food, anything like that. That's going to be more of a terrain thing. Again, if you're scuba rated, it's underwater. If you're airborne rated, it's airborne ops. And then EXT specialty is going to be extreme specialty. If your guy eventually wants to become like a desert survival specialist, Arctic survival specialist, or what's the other big one? A jungle survival specialist.
Okay, cool.
But
I'll
you've
put
got
two in
one
terrain nav then.
Okay.
So, and that'll round me off for 15.
Sweet. All right, so those are the skills. He's ready to go with his attributes. Again, we already talked about status. We'll get into gear in just a little bit. The wound table. We have grit, we have conscience, and we have sanity. This is probably the most directly lifted from the old storyteller system. They called it willpower instead of grit. They called it humanity instead of conscience. And depending on the game, some games had sanity, some games didn't. I definitely added it into all my games. And this is pretty much your character's soul, for lack of a better term. I know that sounds kind of dramatic. Grit is kind of like willpower. Grit is just literally how physically tough you are. There are no magic spells. You're never going to have to make a willpower roll to disbelieve an illusion or anything silly like that. But what grit allows you to do is any time in the game, you can spend a grit point and get one automatic success on a die roll. It's
Okay.
Your character just needs it and knows it, and you declare it ahead of time. Say, I'm spending a grit point, or spending willpower, whatever you want to call it. Now we're calling it grit in this game. I'm gonna sling some grits. We'll say it like that. Hey, I'm in the American South. We're gonna spend a grit point, and boom, I get one automatic success before I even roll the dice. That can be really important when you're in a contested role, like an arm wrestling contest, a chess match, a knife fight, something like that, where the other guy knows you're there and he's actively using his dice against you and you're using your dice against him. And if he wants it more than you, he's going to spend willpower points. He's going to spend grit points. And he might wind up winning it. Conscience is just basically how good of a person you are. Insanity is how sane you are. Conscience and sanity are going to go down in a big hurry with some of the stuff your characters would like to see. Keeping your character sane and together is going to be a challenge. One thing that tends to happen, doesn't always happen, but tends to happen, is a character will get very, very high in one and very low in the other. So the operator who sees too much and yet still feels everything, every, crying, baby who just been orphaned by your grenade blast or who knows what, his
Yep.
conscience is going to remain high, but his sanity is going to go through the floor. He's going to come apart really, really fast. The opposite of that is the cold, detached, Terminator badass. He has no fucks to give. His conscience has bottomed out, but his sanity, he's not going crazy, or at least not any more crazy. Either one getting too low is a problem. So we're going to keep an eye on that. Again, that's the kind
Yep.
of thing that changes over a whole bunch of games. So that's not going to come into play today. Animal handling for players who may want to be canine handlers. That's actually a really good idea. I was thinking about that. I was thinking about horses in Afghanistan. Yeah, there's going to be a great idea, Ralph. I was thinking about that last night. That may well get added. So these skills are going to get reorganized and fleshed out. Another thing that's
Mm.
missing is languages are not on here yet. Uh, I try to avoid the usual RPG shtick where it's like you have like 5 rows for languages. I speak Farsi, I speak German, I speak French and Swahili. Well, how the hell do I'm
You
thinking
learn all
about,
that. Like,
yeah, especially when they're not even related or whatever. I mean, there are people who know like 10 languages, but they are few and far between, and they're usually related. I speak Italian, Portuguese, and Spanish. That's almost believable. I speak Dutch, German, Danish. Okay, I speak Russian, Swahili, Portuguese, and some lost tribe, in the middle of the Philippines somewhere. I mean, okay, I want to read that backstory. I came up with all that. Um, so yeah, there's definitely some things. Language groups is a good idea, Rasmus. Yeah, and it's like, look, Germanic or Slavic. Okay, you can kind of fuddle your way through. You have whatever dots in Russian or whatever. You can fumble your way through. You know, uh, Romanian or something. Who knows? Or the other 20 languages they speak in Russian. They speak in Russia. Okay, Mr. Simmons here. Um, okay, so yeah, same deal here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Oh, it looks like this guy has the right number of skills already. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm counting just the green ones. 1, 2, 3,
yep.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, the only one he's short on is he got one free one over here in support. And so,
Oh, okay. Yep.
yeah,
I'll
that's the
put it
only.
in water. Yeah.
Okay, so one extra one in mortar. Other than that, he's good. Over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, this guy has 15 dots or 15 boxes. He gets to add one. He had one free box in each of his. So you know what? I'll just grab like one free one out of each of these, and I'll say that was his free one.
Yep.
Okay, so it looks like he gets to add 6 more dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, he gets to add 6 more. Pretty much wherever
Okay.
he wants. Again, base camp is your basic ability to operate in the outdoors in the field. Terrain nav is repair.
Mm. I'll put 2 in terrain and 2 in base.
You must have like different choices for colors than I do.
Yeah, I'm using open source thing, so it's all slightly
Oh yeah.
budget. It's all like a ghetto version of Excel.
I will clean this up later, guys. But just for now, I'll just stick with that. All right. Yeah, that's way off. I'll figure it out later. or I'll do it now because I'm anal retentive. Cool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, any ideas in the chat where you should put his last 2 points? It's got to be in a street attribute. I'm sorry, a street skill, a street ability. Let's see, what does this guy's look like? Dangerous neighborhood. Oh, man. Yeah, he's got fast talk. He's got deception. Okay. Um, Rasmus says repair, and Ralph Holland says airborne. Ralph Holland just wants airborne in the group.
Good thing G's not here.
Here you go. She said she might show up later. Repair would be a good idea.
Yep.
Just because
Yeah,
it's like,
repair, that's
fix basic stuff, at least 1 dot in repair. You know, you've mastered the art of duct tape.
And I think Rasmus said computer.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with computers.
Yeah,
Oh my
computer
God.
sounds good.
The game that, one of the many games that I'm kind of totally boosting from is Millennium's End, published in 1999. I'm sorry, 1993. When the end of the millennium was like this dark, spooky, what's the year 2000 going to look like? Use this game and explore and find out. Dude, I need a war game now to remember what 2000 was like. And I'm like looking through their equipment list, and I'm like, oh, that's so adorable. They have scanners and faxes in here. They have palm top PCs. I'm like, oh, 90s. That's what they thought the future was going to look like. How wrong we were. Computer. What the hell is... Oh, there we go. Yeah, you can't go wrong with knowing how to use a computer. Okay. Once you have a certain thing in a skill, I don't think this was in any of the materials. Once you have something in a school, you can use any of the skills in that school at -2. So,
Okay. Yep.
yeah, that's why they're kind of related. So once you have like 2 dots in rifle or 3 dots in rifle, he's not completely hopeless if he picks up an enemy submachine gun. He can use it with 1 dot. 3 minus 2 is 1. And he can same with machine gun, and he can even take a stab with a sniper. It's always but yeah, some skills that he only has like 1 dot in, like this explosives. Yeah, he's kind of clueless when it comes to a grenade launcher, which is fine. I mean, he's a beginning character. But yeah, the game is meant to be designed where you're never like completely hopeless, kind of thing.
Okay.
All right, guys. So those characters are bump up observation. Yeah, that would be another good idea. Here's the problem there, Ralph. A beginning character. How competent a medic do you want? He's got 2 in wounds and 2 in survival. So survival means he's going to be able to find clean water, make clean water, things like that. And wounds is obviously the important one for when you get shot. That's like your first aid check. So he's got 1 dot there, and his other guy has nothing in wounds. Oh boy. Okay. Yeah. So hey, take care of William Simmons. Again, they're beginning characters, and you're usually going to have more than 2 people in a group. Obviously, we'd have a party of 3 to 4 players, so we'd have at least 3 to 4 characters in the group. And once you're coming up with a group, you can start to specialize. Okay, you're the sniper, you're the medic, you're the language guy, you're the demolitions guy. Just like a real spec ops team has to do. No one is a master at anything, especially as a beginning character. Alright, so we've been streaming for just under an hour, and we want to get kind of moving here. So again, that's our character, our 2 characters. Here are some of our beginning tables. Again, I'm not going to go through all this at the moment. It's also not entirely completed. But yeah, we're not going to go into each individual. There are literally thousands of assault rifle types, dozens of pistols, hundreds of pistols, dozens of submachine guns. I don't even have regular machine guns drawn up here yet, like belt-fed machine guns, but there are some basics enough to get us through today. Everything is in basic classes. Auto pistol, small. Well, what's an auto pistol small? That's the 32 ACP, 7.65 millimeter, anything that shoots. It's all based on ammunition type. Auto pistol medium. What's a medium? Pistol medium is 380, 9mm, 38 special. They're all going to be somewhat grouped together. There's going to be some rounding off here, guys. But, we're not trying to get into a super accurate thing. We'll be here till Christmas, playing our first encounter. Pretty much everything gets bolted down into class. So we have small, medium, large, very large auto pistols, rinse, repeat for revolvers. We have 3 kinds of submachine guns. We have rifles and shotguns. 2 kinds of shotgun, pretty much buck and slug, a buckshot and slug. Very large sniper rifle. Those are your 50 calibers, 14.5 millimeter anti-material rifles. 3 basic kinds of submachine of assault rifles. Again, that's going to be your M16s, your Galils, your 556, and your Soviet AK-74s, your 545 RSA. That's all going to be assault rifle small. Assault rifle medium is your 7.62 millimeter stuff. Your battle rifles are your old FN Falls. Then you get into your hunting rifles and your sniper rifles. And then finally your big, almost like light cannons. Your Macmillans, your Beretta Mod 82s, those gigantic things. We have basic beginning rules for silencers, laser sights, scopes, and bipods. Again, merits and flaws to all of them. Silencers obviously make you to keep, allow you to stay silent. The enemy doesn't hear that fire if he's, a certain distance away, but drops your range, drops your damage, and drops your accuracy. It slows down the bullet. The whole point of a silencer is to get subsonic ammunition. Also, if you're carrying a silencer, you're usually carrying deliberately underloaded bullets to keep the bullet less than the speed of sound. That's where all the noise really comes from. Laser sight, scope, bipod, all the usual trimmings. We have different kinds of armor, laptop, again, who knows how good it is, first aid kit, demolition charges. Tactical comm is pretty much, you've got tactical comm. It's like built into your helmet or you're wearing something. It doesn't weigh anything. The only things that's important is your ops comm. That's talking back to your handler. That's going to be some sort of satellite uplink. That does weigh a little bit. Night vision, binoculars, the usual. How a punch works, a knife works, a kick, things like that. So for close combat, I kept this deliberately simple and very free-flowing, okay? So anything to do with a punch or a fist or a chop or, anything to do with your hands is going to be based off of your dex, okay? You roll dex, the enemy rolls agility. Whoever rolls better wins. If you rolled more than the enemy, you hit. If you missed, or if he rolled more than you missed, no problem. Or he blocked it, or, who knows what. Kick or any kind of a throw or any kind of a grapple, anything that uses your whole body or your legs or your core is going to be based on agility. And the kick is kind of there as an example. So, and then there's special. That's the real column. Okay. So the way I'm doing close combat is I'm not going to have a skill for jujitsu. I'm not going to have a skill for, I can't remember the name of it, the Krav Maga stuff, that is really special.
Krav Maga.
Yeah, there's, Aikido for karate, for kung fu, I've seen some role-playing games that have like a whole page just to list 76 different kinds of, martial arts or self-defense or whatever. Look, it goes like this. You can write in whatever you want in your character sheet, okay? And the more dots you have in something, the better. Obviously, if your character has a higher agility than a dex, he's better with kicks and throws, as opposed to if he's dex, then he's, more about punches. But that's up to you and how you develop your character. All this information comes down to how you want to play your character. And when you're up against an opponent and you want to attack somebody, okay, the basic target number is usually a 6 on a 1 through 10. You want to roll as high as you can. Okay? You add the total number of dice you have in either dex or agility, depending on what you're doing. You tell me how you want to play your character. Okay? And, your whatever kind of brawl you're talking about, whether it's a strike or it's a grapple, or if it's melee close, if you have a knife in your hand, or ranged, if it's some sort of ranged attack, or, whatever you want to do. The point is, how devastating is it? Well, for every number that you take off of your dice pool to hit, it's almost like calling a shot. You're going to get 2 extra dice on the damage. So if you have 3, if you want to punch somebody, you have 3 in dex and 3 in melee, or I should say 3 in brawl. You have 6 dice. This guy's kind of a chump. I'm going to try and knock him out in one shot. I'm going to take 4 dice off of my to hit roll. I'm calling a shot. I'm going to hit him right in the neck. Okay, fine. You only have 2 dice left. You better hit him. And if you do hit him, great. You took 4 dice off of your number. That means you get 8 extra dice to damage. And that's
Okay. Yep.
probably not going to hit him unless he's surprised. That's when you walk up behind somebody and you punch him in the head, or clock him on the back of the neck with a friggin' blackjack or something. That was an extreme example, but that's usually the kind of thing like insta kills. Like you stealth up behind some guy, you want to stick a knife in his neck or whatever. Okay, that's going to be a Dex plus melee check, and in order to make sure he doesn't make a sound, you have to get him to incapacitate it in 1 turn. You basically get 1 swing. That's 9 levels of damage. You have to do that in 1 shot. That's tough. Now, he doesn't get agility because he doesn't see you coming. We're assuming you made your stealth check. But the system is kind of baked into where it allows you to do this. Again, I came up with all this morning, so if it doesn't work, we'll be fixing some things. But I've kind of gamed through a couple scenarios, and I don't think our characters or your characters are going to be doing this up front. But the whole Jack Fisher, what's his name, Sam Fisher thing, where you just sneak up behind somebody and just like insta kill everyone in the room, GoldenEye style. That's an advanced character. Let's manage our expectations. You're not.
Yeah.
You're a level 1 operator. I mean, in a bad way. You're a level 1 D&D character. You just came out of the tavern. You're like, let's go fight some kobolds. You're better than probably most regular volunteer soldiers or whatever. But yeah, this is definitely the thing. Beginning characters. Okay, so let's load up your characters and then get started.
Sure. Because Movie is asking, will these be on OTT so that people can download them? Just blank character sheets.
I'm going to talk to Warren. I'm actually going to reach out to him on Skype and see if he's interested in taking a look at this.
I think this would be his sort of thing.
Well, I know he's not going to want to play, but I mean, as far as whether or not he wants to, I don't even know. Support it, feature it. I don't know. We'll see. I have been thinking about that. That's a good question. If not, I'll tell you this much. People who want to play the game or whatever and like join one of our groups, I don't know how often we'll be running this. It depends on how well it works and how popular it is. When people say they want to play this game, it happened last night. I'll send you a copy of the character sheet. You send me the character sheet with the colors filled in. I'll put it into the book and we'll play. Its game will really work best when we have like at least 3 or 4 players. So yeah, I think it's going to. I don't want to send too much out now because, as you can see, there's already new things on here that weren't on your copy of the sheet yesterday. So I've already had to add some things on here. This thing is still very fluid, and before I start publishing things out publicly, I want to get it a little more solid. As far
what a good idea. Wish some other companies would do that.
No. Not just send out the first draft and then re-release.
Yeah, and sell you a book and then tell you to print stuff. Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, there you go. John Wick, he could kill with just a pencil. Yeah, I have no doubt of it. A pencil to just okay. You know what? Teachable moment. Rasmus says John Wick could kill with just a pencil. Okay. We're going to not make up the character here, but just for fun to show how this works. John motherfucking... Ooh, I can't type today. John motherfucking Wick. Okay, here he is. Now, how do we... I don't even know what the hell his stamina would be, or his dexterity would be through the roof, I'm assuming, right? You guys tell me. With 6 being one of the 10 best people on the planet, I'm going to just, to be conservative, call his dexterity a 5 and melee close. Now, is he trying to do the silently, guys, or is he trying to, or does he care about noise? I'm assuming that John Wick has many dots in all of these close combats. So obviously John Wick would be like a 20th level guy in this game. Okay, so all right, let's say he's trying to be quiet. He has melee silent, 1, 2, 3, 4, and he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in dexterity. We're assuming he's made his stealth check. His stealth check would be agility plus terrain navigation. Okay, so he was able to creep up behind him. So he rolled that. He rolled his agility, whatever that would be, plus terrain navigation. He has, I don't know, we'll say he has at least 4 in both, because I know he's like a serious badass. Okay? He's got 4 in both. So he's got 8 dice. Let me turn on the webcam. Okay? This is a quick little play test here. Or a quick little demo, I should say. All right, so he looks at his he looks at his character sheet here, the guy who's playing John Wick, and he says, "Holy crap, I'm really badass. I have 8 dice in agility plus land navigation or terrain navigation. The target number, unless I say otherwise, is always going to be a 6. All right, so he rolls 8 dice, 1 dice for each of his dots or each of his rating boxes, and it's anything over a 6 or over. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He got 5 successes out of his 8 dice. The guard who's there has, say he's a pretty good. We'll say he's a Russian outfit guy. He's got 3 dots in wits and 2 dots in observation. Okay, yeah, 3 dots in observation. He's a Russian outfit guy, but it's the middle of a nightclub when there's like loud music playing. I'll take 2 dice off. He only has 4 dice. Well, we already know he can't win, because even if he rolls all successes, he's not going to get 5 successes. John Wick just rolled 5 successes. But just to go through the motions, he gets only 1 success anyway. So John Wick won that stealth check 5-4. This guy never sees John Wick coming. All right, so now he's behind him with a pencil. Thank you, Rasmus, for our little thing here, our little scenario. So how does John Wick kill a guy with a pencil? Okay, like I said, he's got 5 dots in dexterity, okay? And his melee silent is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, that's his total dice pool. He says, how am I going to do this? He doesn't see me coming, and because we've already established that he has complete surprise, he is going to get... the enemy's not going to get to roll back. He's not going to roll an agility plus his melee, agility plus grapple, agility plus whatever. He's not going to get a chance to fight back. Normally, this roll is contested. So this is a straight-out murder, what we're doing here. But normally, it's contested. Okay, the enemy sees you coming, you start throwing punches, and you start, Jackie Chaning your way through the scene. But that's not happening here. John Wick is behind the guy who scored not nearly enough successes to hear him coming. So now we're looking at a grand total of 9 dice uncontested. So John Wick says, holy crap, I'm uncontested. The enemy's not going to get to throw any dice against me. All I have to do is get more successes than he does, and I hit. And he's not rolling any dice against me. So you know what? I'm going to reduce my dice pool by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to reduce my dice pool by 8. Okay, because I'm going to stab him right in the side of the neck. That's a pretty extreme example. He's only got 1 dice left now. He's going to spend a grit point, because this matters. So he starts off with 1 automatic success. He rolls his dice, 3, he fails. But it doesn't matter because he spent a grit point on it. All right, he spent a little bit of his gut willpower. Doesn't matter, he scored 1 hit. So he gets 1 hit from his grit point, and then he subtracted his thing by how much again? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, that means he gets to multiply that by 2 and add that to his damage pool. 16 plus 1. He gets to roll 17 dice in damage. The damage is always going to be the enemy's stamina plus 2. Stamina plus 3. Average stamina for an average person is 2. So we're going to say this guy's stamina is 2. So the guy's target number is now, or I should say John Wick's, add 1 for the pencil. Pencil counts as a small knife. So it's 18 dice now total against a 2 is stamina plus 3 is 5. So 18 dice versus 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm going to roll this in 2 groups of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. He did 12 levels of damage. Let's consult our handy-dandy little damage chart over here. He goes from bruised, light bleeding, moderate bleeding, broken bone, heavy bleeding, internal injuries, organ damage. He's going into shock. He's incapacitated. 10 is killed, and again, John Wick did 12. So he killed him literally 3 times with a pencil. So, Mr. Rasmus, there you go. We have just proved it that in this game system, John Wick can kill somebody with a pencil. And that's how it would happen. Obviously, that was a very one-sided example. Normally, the guy gets to see you coming. He gets to fight back. He gets to dodge. He throws a punch. Sometimes he's wearing armor. He might be tougher than 2 in stamina. Maybe this guy was super big. Maybe he had a 3 in stamina. He was a big, roided out gym monster. He had a stamina of 4. So that would make the target number a 7. That'd be a lot less. So John Wick can't always kill with a pencil. And he can't always, he might hit with a pencil but not do enough to kill him. He might get only 8 successes. Now he's going into shock. He's basically dead. Because remember, if you're in the red, you're in the wound table. At the end of that turn, unless he gets immediate first aid, he loses 2 more levels of damage. He dies a minute later. But guess what? He lived long enough to make some noise. And that starts the next firefight scene. This is how the system is built to tell stories here in our little setting. So that was a quick, cheesy example there. Again, John Wick, I've never seen the movies, but from everything I've heard, the guy would have many dots in many things. He would have, his whole sheet would be green.
I've never seen those movies either, and twice this weekend someone's talked to me about them, so I really have to watch them.
I just can't stand Keanu Reeves, especially this whole greasy emo thing he's got going. It's so nasty looking. He might be I don't know. If it was a different actor, I could probably take a swing at it, but I just can't stand friggin' Keanu Reeves lately. Actually, I've never really been able to stand Keanu Reeves. Sitrep Podcast, hello. All right, Sitrep Podcast. Here's our sheets, and we have Trevor's first 2 characters. I'm sorry, I'm calling you by your character's name now. Get used to that. I call it method role playing. We have Dylan's first 2 characters. All right. So, super fast. Trevor, we'll do you first. Okay. Your carry, how much stuff you can carry in waypoints, is the total number of things you have in all your physical attributes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's not really a weight thing. It's how much you can handle without dropping stuff, and how cumbersome something is. That's why dexterity comes into it. That's why agility comes into it. Obviously, strength and stamina are going to be a big deal for just carrying sheer weight. But things that don't weigh very much but are very bulky, like longbows or compound bows, are still going to count relatively high on the encumbrance meter. But the point is that you have 10 dots in tactical attributes, so you have 10 things that you can carry. Or I should say 10 points worth that you can carry. So, okay, I guess I should tell you what the mission is. The mission I was picturing was trying to rescue this guy. I don't know how many encounters you have. I have 2 encounters set up, but we don't have to do both. We don't have to do either. But sooner or later was to infiltrate and hit one of these 2. We can call it Syria. I have Syria set up here. We can call it Afghanistan. One of these 2, basic, terrorist, areas, and you have to rescue somebody out of there. Again, in an actual campaign, this would be a story. You would get helicoptered in, and God knows where you would land. You would get to pick where you landed. Where are you going to find this guy? You have to meet a contact. You have to buy him a beer. You have to go into a bar. You have to find this guy. That's not the real guy. It's actually his sister. It's not his sister. It's his mistress. Well, his mistress is fucking some other guy. You have to go kill him first. Find him. Talk to the mistress. Find out where the hostage is being held. Buy a vehicle. No, never mind. Steal a vehicle. Get into a gun battle in the the back lot. Steal the vehicle, and then drive out into the desert. Dodge a random encounter of Syrian tanks or something. Get here and then hit the target. It would be a whole thing. And again, you would be much more equipped to deal with it. Number 1, we'd have more time. Number 2, the system would be play tested. And number 3, most importantly, we'd have 3 or 4 players with different skill sets. So we would be, ready to go. There would be a lot more storytelling involved in this. But again, just for now, we're just playtesting the system, how it actually works tactically. So, long story short, take a shot. We're going to, attack one of these two areas and get our, I don't know, you want to call him an interpreter. So this guy is a local. He's been working with local forces to, as like a liaison and a go-between between friendly forces and ISIS insurgents. He's gone and got himself captured, and they're going to execute him. Notice this guy here pointing a pistol at his face. You got to get in there and rescue him before the news crew shows up. The camera crew is on its way there so they can broadcast his beheading out over the internet. You've got to get there before that happens. They're not going to kill him because they want to make the most of his death, and they don't know you're coming. But that's your mission. You have to get here and rescue that guy and save him from a pretty terrible fate. So, with that in mind, what kind of weapons were you thinking about taking? And then I'll tell you whether or not you can carry all that shit.
I think pistols and rifles for both.
All right, like an assault rifle of some kind?
Yeah, pistols and assault rifles.
All right, just to get things going super fast, and then for an assault rifle.
Yep.
Or actually, I think they call it an assault carbine. Okay. So, assault rifle small. Okay, it weighs 6. Oh, man. Did I... Please tell me I put these cells in the same order. Watch me, I didn't. That might be yet another change. Weight is 6. Damage it... Oh, man, really? Ooh. Alright, I'll fix that later. Weight is 6. Damage is +5. Accuracy is +1. Range is medium. And the rating. Oh, the rating. Yeah, there's no rating for an assault rifle. Rating is going to be for who knows what. Rating is generally for like other equipment. Who knows what? A laptop, a first aid kit, a demolition kit, a communications device. And the better it is, the more dice it adds to your pool. But here, the M4 assault carbine, that's already covered. All right, so that's 6 out of your 4 carry points. We don't obviously charge for ammo, boots, boot bands, your wallet, your credit card, your cell phone. Dude, you can carry yourself. You can dress yourself. You're a grown-ass man. So there are games that say, well, how many mags are you carrying for that? You know what, dude? You have enough ammunition to get through the game. All right. Is the point of that? Okay, a pistol. All right, revolver or auto pistol?
I personally really like revolvers, but I think most operators will be using autos.
Grab a revolver. Revolvers are in this game more accurate. They have slower rates of fire, but they are more accurate.
Yeah, so, I think a revolver would be a good
revolver,
choice.
Small, medium, large, or very large?
I think we'll go medium.
So medium revolver being a 380 9mm 38 special kind of a pistol.
Yep.
Is basically what a medium pistol is. Okay, cool. So
you joke because science teacher. Have a read of the book. Was it? It's 12 strong or something like that. The special forces going in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
They did use surgical strikes like that to get hostages out. It was a mess. It's a really good book.
Yeah, but weren't there also like horse troops in there? So Ralph's idea earlier about animal handling. I was thinking about it last night. I was thinking about it. We may come back to that. Also, I want to add languages. So yeah, there's going to be.
That's probably the best example of a brilliant book with a terrible movie. The movie of that is disgustingly awful. Or Soldiers, I think it's called.
I might like to add, if I could please, Ender's Game to that list.
Okay.
Oh my God, one of the best books ever, one of the worst movies ever.
The book covers like the prelude to 9/11, the actual day, getting to Afghanistan, going through this horse, and the movie literally covers them landing in Afghanistan and the first battle, and that's it. There's like 7 other massive things, and that battle isn't even the most interesting one. It's just At one point, the Special Forces team is attacking a building, while another Special Forces team is trying to negotiate with the same people in the building, while the CIA is calling down guided missiles onto it. It's just it.
What is the 1 and 2? Oh, that's the ammo? Hold on.
Rate of fire, I think it was.
Okay, rate of fire and ammo. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm going to have to tinker with this stuff a little bit to cut down on this part of it. So that we're not, I don't want to go flipping back and forth between tabs 100 times. Definitely don't want to avoid that in the future. Okay, so that is 8. You got 2 carry points left. How about some armor?
Sounds like a good idea.
Tactical armor weighs 2, and you get 3 save dice, even against bullets. You never get a save dice against bullets for damage unless you're wearing armor. I don't care how many times you go to the gym, you're not soaking up a bullet. Bullet damage is automatic once the enemy makes the roll versus your stamina. So you can be more resilient to bullet damage with a very high stamina, but once you get hit, you're hit. There's no save dice after that. Now, there is save dice if you get in a punch-up or a knife fight or something. For melee attacks and brawling attacks, yes, but against guns, there's no... Storyteller system used to call it a soak check. You basically just tough your way through some of the ammo. You get some of the damage. You get one chance to kind of make that roll. You can spend willpower on it. That's also for supernatural creatures a lot of times, which obviously we're not dealing with here. But armor might give you 3. Armor might be a good idea.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Yep, tactical armor.
All right, and that is all NAs, except this is going to be 2 saves. No, I said 3 saves, right, for tactical armor? Yeah.
3 saves, yep.
Yeah, this sheet is... I'm already seeing some of the cracks. This sheet is already a little rough. That's okay. Awesome. On to the next guy. The next guy has a little bit less in his tactical attributes, especially his agility. He's a little clumsy. This guy likes to trip a lot. Again, he's beginning. He's only got 9 carry points. So the same kind of thing, or maybe something else?
I think I'll go with the rifle just because that's what he's got.
All right,
but
I would add the rifle.
Probably no
easy,
pistol.
now that we have that. Yeah, this guy also seems to be your medic. So let's make sure that we set him up with a... Oh, where the hell was it? First aid kit.
Yep.
All right, that weighs 1 pound. You know what I might do? I might make these like drop-down menus. I'll build a data validation table in the back of the spreadsheet, and you'll literally just click on it, and there'll be like a drop-down. You can just click on stuff.
That's a good idea.
It'll be a lot of work, but it'll make the game a whole lot faster. All right, weight is 1. You get a +3. And everything else here is NA. Also, these cells aren't even merged, but I'll figure that part out later. Super fast. I just haven't got a chance to do it yet. Weight. Weight for the armor. There is a weight to the armor. The weight is 2. So, yeah, 6 + 2 + 2. I wanted to make the weight stuff super easy. You're assumed to have most of the basic stuff. I don't charge for water, bandages, rope, a whetstone, how many magazines versus how many bullets versus bootlaces versus, you've got it. Just for fun, everyone has tactical comms. That weighs 0. Okay, we'll say that they're pretty good. Actually, I think I have +1. So basically on everyone's check, everyone's initiative check, you get to add 1. So that initiative is actually now going to go to a 4. So I'll add like a little +1 here just to remind us. The reason tactical comms is important is, obviously we're looking at everything from a God's eye view, from top down. So we see everything. Your guys on the board aren't seeing everything, but with 4 eyes or 6 eyes or 12 eyes in a big party, we can all see different things, and we all know what each other sees. We're always considered to be, chatting with each other and, letting each other know what's up. So that gives everybody a little bit more of a battlefield awareness.
Yep.
Better to create characters, yeah. Oh, Nomad, take it easy, man. Yeah, good grief, dude. It's got to be pretty late where you're at. Yeah, so have a good time, everybody. Take it easy, Ralph. Thanks very much. Beretta82. Yeah, that would be a very similar pistol. Again, Novus Templar, this game is going to boil things down a lot. Not everyone has the same tactical knowledge as everybody else, and I don't want the game to be 10 hours long. So things like, well, like we saw a second ago, go back to the data tables. There's basically four kinds of automatic pistol: small, medium, large, and very large. So yeah, 9 mm, 380 or 38 special. That's all pretty much your medium pistol. The attributes between a medium revolver and a medium auto pistol, so a 9 mm pistol like a Beretta and a 38 police special, are going to have different attributes, even though they fire the same ammunition, same general class of ammunition. One carries more bullets, one is more accurate, one fires faster. They all have different merits and flaws or whatever. So you can really kind of, without going into excessive detail, the players are really going to be able to kit their people out in the best way, or at least in the way that best suits their, what they want to do. Speaking of which, let's finish up Mr. William Simmons here. He has 2 carry points left.
Body armor, I think.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. That is, come on, give me Trevor Williams. Yeah, tactical armor, 2 points, and that gives him some save. Awesome. So armor, again, there's like 900 different kinds of armor out there, guys. I boil it down. There's armor that's concealable. It's basically a Kevlar t-shirt. Detectives wear this sometimes so the people don't know that you're wearing body armor. It weighs next to nothing, but it only gives you 1 save dice. Tactical armor is your basic vest, that you wear out in the field. There's heavy armor. This is the kind of stuff that you've got armor on the arms, some sort of Kevlar, thigh pads. You're all kitted out. It really slows you down, but you get, a lot more save points. And then, just as an extreme example, there's EOD, which weighs 5. If you want to walk around in a big EOD suit, it's technically possible if you want to. You will be pretty much bulletproof, but yeah, you're not going to be moving very fast, that's for sure. All right, guys, so that was pretty much it.
Awesome.
Alrighty, so that leaves us, let's see, it's an hour and a half so far. We want it to be this like roughly a 2-hour, maybe 3-hour stream. So, again, a real game of this or any related system would be much more story focused, much more narrative focused. We can go through some of the basics here. I want to see someone kill something. Yeah. Novus Templar. Yeah, no worries. Drop downs you Excel show off. Yeah. Okay. So again, it's Syria, maybe 2 years in the future. We are trying to get to. Uh-oh. That is so weird. Sometimes I see that little toolbar, sometimes I don't. That is the most strange thing ever. Okay, we're trying to get to who knows where. I don't really have a story prepared. Yeah, there's an interpreter being held up in a remote location. You are choppered in here to make sure that you can get, or to try to get him out. In a real setting, there would be a lot more to this. But for now, let's go through some very basic stuff just to kind of show how the system works. Okay, so you're in the helicopter. I don't know where the helicopter's going to have taken off from. Where's the nearest friendly place, relatively speaking? Somewhere in somewhere in western Iraq. Okay, there's a U.S. Army base out there, and you're trying to chopper into Syria. Actually, we're pulling most of our people out of Syria right now. But anyway, don't get hung up on the background. You're in a chopper and you're trying to get to where you think this guy is. Intelligence told you where this pretty much was. Again, I wish I had my little tool here, but I don't. But that's okay. We'll just start a little thing here. All right. So again, again, somewhere out in an ISIS-controlled area. ISIS is mostly in the north. Somewhere out in the middle of nowhere. So somewhere in that radius where that little blue circle is. Okay?
Yep.
All right, so you don't want to fly too far to the north. You don't want to fly too far to the. You don't pretty much don't want to go anywhere near this highway. This is much more much more heavily controlled by ISIS. Once you get too close to the coast, now you got problems with the Russians. Okay, so it's up to you where you want to approach from. But the suggestion would be from somewhere along the southeast. But again, you don't have an exact location on this guy. So you're still back at American base camp. You'll say you're back here at Al Hadir. Okay, you're about to load up in the helicopter. All right, you and so we got Michaels and Simmons. They're pretty much in the hangar getting ready while the helicopter's warming up out on the tarmac. Okay, you've got the intelligence, you've got the maps. We're going to say that you are within 10 successes of knowing exactly where this guy is. Okay. So whenever you get a chance to narrow that down, you get to make a certain roll, and every success that you get on that is going to chisel away at that surplus. Right now you're 10 in the hole, and you're trying to get to 0. So if you, your first roll you get 3 successes, okay, now you got it narrowed down to 7. Then you do something else later on, you get it narrowed down to 6, narrowed down to 3. When you get to 0, you've got him pinpointed. You know exactly where he is. So again, there's like this little GP folding table there. The helicopter's warming up out on the tarmac. You're all geared up. You're all kitted out. You're ready to go. And again, you've got the DIA laptop. Yeah, you said you guys were Americans, right? Yeah. Your Defense
Americans.
Intelligence Agency laptop or whatever. He's got all his maps. He's got all his photographs. He says, "Okay, do you have any last questions, or do you know? Here's the materials if you want to take a last look to try and kind of narrow down where this guy might be at." So the way storyteller system basically works is you can pretty much just roll the dice. Oh, my guy's going to roll investigation plus whatever or whatever. Now you can rely on the system and kind of go through that way. Not to like challenge anybody or put them on the spot, but if you want to get serious with your narrative and your role playing and your storytelling, you can tell me what kind of things you're looking for, and what I'll do is I'll add dice to your pool depending on how good your ideas are. Give you a better shot.
Well, Michaels wants to see where this guy's money's moving around. If we have any information about that,
The targets, the target of the money. I should say the money of the target.
Money
Okay.
is the target.
Well, he was getting paid by the U.S. government, so that's actually a pretty good idea. And then we declared earlier that he was an interpreter working for friendly U.S. forces. So we'll add 2 dice for that. Hopefully you don't roll 1s. Okay. So anyone in the chat have any ideas what he should look for, or is he just going to start working on that laptop? Ash Callanday, how you doing? Sitrep podcast, any ideas? Yeah, she's looking in the laptop. He's going to try and trace the missing interpreter's money. So, okay, go ahead and roll D10s. You're looking for a 6 or up. Let's see, that's going to be perception plus. Okay. You go to open up the laptop, or the laptop's sitting right there, obviously. The laptop is obviously encrypted, but he's got it open for you. He's not going to do that. You don't know where this guy's money is, but then again, it's coming from him. So you talk to the DIA guy and you say, "I want to track this guy's money," or are you just going to start typing on the computer?
I'm going to talk to the DIA guy.
All right, so you're trying to convince him to open up this guy's financials. If not, you have to hack it. So that's going to be whoever wants to make the roll. You got 2 characters. Some people might be better than others. But first, we're going to have to do like a quick thing. That's going to be a charm plus a. Oh God, I don't remember my own character sheet here. Charm plus fast talk.
I think that Michaels is better at doing that. So.
Alrighty. So charm, Michaels. Believe it or not, they both look like the same. Fast talk has 3 plus 2 is 5, and Simmons is not as good a fast talker, but he's just more charming. So it sounds like Trevor is just more sleazy. He's not as charming, but he's got more fast talk. All right, so who do you want to talk to this guy? Was it going to be
Michael's
okay?
will talk.
In all honesty, in game mechanic wise, it didn't matter, and it's a good idea. And obviously, you have a mission, and so yeah, like I said, we're adding 2 of the die roll here. Okay, we're gonna roll his natural suspiciousness, so that's gonna be his savvy plus we're gonna call that what's the word I'm looking for here? Observation, yeah, or now his deception, whatever his deception is. I don't have a character sheet made up for every guy you're going to meet, but real quick, 5 dice. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not showing my webcam. Okay, 1, 2, 3. He's 3 measures his natural suspiciousness. You have to get at least 3 successes. So you've got 2 in charm, 3 in fast talk, and again, the idea is sound. So I'm giving you 2 extra dice on that. So it's going to be a total of 7 dice. D10s. You're looking for 6s or higher. The unwritten rule is the target number is always 6 or higher unless I say otherwise.
5.
5 successes?
Yep.
All right, well, 3 were needed. You definitely managed to get them in there. Okay. Now, sometimes in an extended, if this was like an ongoing thing, like say a seduction, you're trying to get this chick to come home with you or whatever, you're talking to her at the club, each roll's success is going to add to your dice pool on the next one. And if you blow a roll, it's going to dig into that surplus, and so on and so forth. So you can have like these ongoing things. Another good example of that is hacking. When you're trying to hack through somebody's crypto, software or whatever, cryptography, it's almost like, dueling hackers or whatever. A lot of what they call it extended opposed rolls, or extended opposed rolls. Contested rolls is the actual word. All right, so you got 2 additional. There's a good idea, and you're now have a surplus of 2. All right, so he says, okay, all right, guys, you know what? I wasn't really supposed to do this, but we really do need this guy back. And you know what? The last thing we need is another goddamn video on the internet. He turns the laptop around, he taps in some stuff, he opens up this guy's financials, he turns the laptop back around again. He's like, be quick and hurry up before my handler comes in and sees you doing this. So he hands you back the laptop with his, stuff open. The target's financial information open. So now you've got the laptop open and you've got his financials. So are you going to investigate those?
Yes, I want to look at recent transactions. Maybe the last. How long has he been missing for?
A week and a half.
We'll look at the last week and a half. Anything wildly irregular?
He'd be dead already if they had a camera crew on hand. All right, so who's going to be doing that? It's going to be Trevor's, or I'm sorry, going to be Michael's or Simmons?
I'll do Michael's.
All right, so Michael's again. He says, hey, don't worry about it, dude. And, okay, so now you are trying to investigate. You have access, so you don't have to do any kind of a hacking or anything. You've got access, so now it's just real, brain power, really. It is going to be, education, because it's uncontested. Education plus financials under the investigation school.
Yes, it's 1, 2, 3.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, plus 2 successes from. Those successes don't really carry over. He gave you the laptop, but the idea is still sound, so you get the initial 2. So that's 4 plus 1 is 5 plus 2 is 7. 7 dice to roll. Usual target number.
1, 2, 3. 5. 5 success.
All right, 5 successes is considered pretty solid. Anything, 1 is you barely made it. 5 is usually considered, the old storyteller scale, a complete success. That might change because you usually have more dots in this game than you do in storyteller system because you don't have supernatural powers to make up for it. But you've got his financials, and sure enough, you found a big hole. Yeah, pretty much his bank account's empty. There was one huge withdrawal, and someone just walked in and just sucked all the money out of his account. He had $240,000 in there, and now it's gone.
Okay, so I want to try and find out if we recognize that account that it was transferred into.
It was a cash withdrawal.
Okay. In that case, it'd be was the cash?
That right there sounds fishy. $240,000 in cash. Syria doesn't exactly have the most robust banking system at the moment.
So we're going to find out where that cash withdrawal took place and if they have some kind of surveillance or something like that.
Okay. That's definitely going to be an investigation. Financials probably still. Yeah, the problem is that now you're hacking into a Syrian bank, or whatever kind of a banking system that they even still have left over there. So that's going to be a little tougher.
Mm.
In other words, this DIA guy didn't just open up the database for you and the laptop. So do we have anyone with computer? Where's maybe if Walt Simmons takes a try with computer, he can actually get into that system.
Okay, I'll give it a go.
Okay.
So he's got one in computer.
He's not. Okay, so wits is when you're in a hurry. Savvy is when you're dealing with people. So by default, it's going to be education. Education plus computer. Now you're up against
Okay.
a bank's encryption system. Then again, I'm not going to give the Syrian bank system that huge of a deal, but we'll see what it is. Oh, sorry, webcam. They didn't roll. They rolled pretty shitty. Okay. So I know how many successes the Syrian cybersecurity rolled. I know how tough the Syrian cybersecurity is. My successes will be subtracted from your successes, and
Okay.
whether or not you're above average or below zero determines whether or not you succeed or fail.
All right, so I've got computer and education.
Yep.
3 success.
All right, 3 success. There was they had 5 dice, but they only got 1 success. So Syrian cybersecurity is having a off day. Surprise, surprise. All right, that's the good news. The bad news is again, we think the guy disappeared in here. The money was withdrawn from one of the very few cities left really standing in Turkey at the moment. The big, probably because there's a big Russian air base right next to it, Latakia over here on the coast. So what
Okay, I
sounds
think the
like happened
finances
is somebody
might be
picked him up, picked up our boy or whatever, and got an account number, and then somebody called somebody on a cellular and said, "Here's
Yep.
the number, drain the account."
Okay, I think finances might be a dead end as of now, but we can look into that cell phone call
There you
because
go.
we do know the time of the transfer, don't we?
Yep,
Or the withdrawal, sorry.
totally.
So let's jump out of the financial,
All right.
jump into the. I'm not sure what the carrier in Syria would be.
Yeah, it's like, oof, wow. That's gonna be rough. Cell phone service isn't the best. So, internet would have been another one there. Okay, but no worries. Whew. So to try to investigate, you got 5, 6. Okay. How about education plus underworld?
Okay, that works. Probably Michael's again because he's the sort of
All right.
he's the lawyer, so he knows exactly how illegal this is. All right, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, 2 success.
Okay. Meanwhile, the DIA guy is coming back. He's like, "You guys done with that laptop yet?" And obviously you're not. But he's starting to get a little anxious about, if his boss comes in and sees you in that laptop, he understands the mission, but it is, against the rules for you to be in that machine. Give me 1 second here. Cool. So, so that's what he asked. He's like, "Are you guys like where are you guys at in that in your investigation? Are you guys almost done?" Because again, I understand where you're at, guys. He says as he lights up a cigarette, but if my boss comes in here, my balls are going to be flying from the flagpole, in the morning. So I'm not trying to rush you.
Finishing up now.
I
Finishing up now. You know,
what are you
if
guys
you
trying to do?
want this guy's severed head on the internet, you can rush us all you like, but right now we're trying to save lives, man.
Dude, there's no reason to get confrontational. I'm just trying to figure out like what's going on here. Like, what do you? Okay,
Okay,
you guys track this money, and then what?
We're tracking money to a bank with a withdrawal. We're just trying to get the phone call to the guy who withdrew the money, and we're trying to find out where that phone call came from.
Okay, who was saying that? Was that Travis or Trevor or?
That'd be Michael's.
Michaels was saying that. Okay, make a charm plus. Ooh. You're talking to the government and military. Thank you. Make a charm plus government military check.
Okay. Charm, 1, 2, 3. 3 success.
Versus his 4 asshole dice. I'm just going to call them asshole dice. 3 successes. 3 successes. Okay, it's a tie. That was a 1. Okay, and that was a 6. He's like, guys, I mean, what? You're seriously trying to hack into Syrian cellular network here? They don't exactly have fucking Verizon over here. I mean, I think you're kind of.
Well, we got into the bank.
Okay, well, you got into the bank. So did your boy, who just lifted, what is it, 200? He looks at the laptop, 240 grand in cash. I mean, obviously their banking system isn't that, isn't that big a deal. My kid broke into the Syrian bank system last week. She thought she was looking for a Pokemon. All right, make another roll as this talk continues.
Okay.
Again, 4
another
dice.
3.
All right, this time he only got 2. All right, he's like, look, you know what? I don't know how much of your job you expect me to do here, but all right. We've got a bit of a backdoor into what passes for Syrian cell phone service around here. The problem is it's heavily monitored. It's pretty much built by the Russians at this point. Is the only thing left. Anything functional left, the Russians are running, especially electronic-wise. So anything that this guy called has probably been surveilled or monitored by the FSB. I mean, do you guys want to hack into the FSB and try and find this phone call, or?
That's probably not a good idea.
Well, I mean, I don't know what else you guys want us to do at this point. I mean, what do you? I see where you're going with this, but I mean, short of that, I don't know what you guys think you're going to find. Chasing this guy's phone call.
Yeah, hacking
It probably went over. It
bad
probably went over some sort of network that someone's looking at. But whether or not the Russians are looking at this same phone call at the same time you're looking at it, I don't know. Do you guys feel lucky?
I feel lucky.
All
We're only
right.
going to be in there for 10 seconds, man. We're not going to be doing much. Just in and out. Get
All
some
right.
coordinates.
This is going to be tough. You're not really rushed, so someone's going to have to make an education plus either internet or international check. Now, here's the thing: if you don't have a dot in either of those, and you don't have 3 dots in something else in that school, you can still make the roll, but it's at a +2 difficulty. In other words, you can just roll your education +0. Okay, great. You get 4 dice, and you can, hope for the best. But if the difficulty is too higher, so now you're rolling against 8s. And gentle hints, you can always spend a grit
That's not a
point.
good idea.
You can always spend a grit point. Whenever it really matters, you say ahead of time, I'm spending a grit point, and then roll the dice.
That's what I'll do. I'll spend a grit point, roll, 1, 2, 3, 4 dice.
4 dice, so you got 1 automatic success, and now you got 4 dice against a target number of 8.
Ooh, okay. Need to get lucky. 3 success.
There you go. Boom,
So
you've
that
got
goes
that
up to
phone
4.
call. All right, so that's 3 successes. That automatically is going to drop. You got a location on where the call was made to. And so that 3 successes plus the 1 from the willpower check, from the willpower point, from the grit point, makes 4 total. Now you have a location. So that 10 that we were talking about before just dropped to a 6.
Cool.
And Sitrep podcast, like I was saying before, will I be sending out character sheets to future players? Yes. Once we finish some more design work, and there's already a few changes I want to make here and there, yes, character sheets will be going out once someone says they want to play and they want to join the group. Again, we're just playtesting today, and we're kind of showing how this system works in a storytelling and narrative kind of a sense or whatever. And this is the kind of thing that we're, kind of aiming for today. But yes, now will I be publishing them en masse? I don't think so, at least not yet, because again, they're still being changed and reworked, and these things are literally less than 24 hours old at this point. But yes, I will be sending out character sheets to people who are interested and who want to join our group. Yes. All right, so the helicopter's warming up. The DIA guy just closed his laptop because his boss just walked in. Yep. He's like, all right, guys, I hope you do well. And if you get back here, let me know, and we'll go out for a beer. He can't believe you found that call. So
I can't believe I found that call.
He's suddenly warming up to you a little bit. I would, in a real game, I would have a name for him already. Yeah, Bob Jones, man. Hey, that was. Hey, and if things don't work out for you here, give me a call. Well, if you ever need a job. All right, so on the helicopter now and flying out to this location. This location is now no longer 10, it's now 6. So it just got a little bit smaller. You're now down to 6. Okay?
Yep.
Sweet.
Okay.
So, anything going on in the helicopter? The pilot's asking pretty much where I should go. The pilot sees this big circle on his computer map, but he's like, that's a big ass circle. I mean, that is what the hell here? That's 50. So that thing is at least 6 or 7 miles wide. And he's like,
okay. Were any built up areas in that little village, little farm somewhere?
Well, he hands you a laminated map case, and he says, yeah, you just let me know as long as it's not to the north or the west. I can land west and, I can land east and south, but I'm not going west or north. I don't want to get shot down by an ISIS RPG, and I damn sure don't want to get shot down by a Russian MiG-29 out of Latakia. So anywhere south and east of that, I can go to.
Yep.
And he hands you that laminated map case with, a blow-up of the area. So who wants to take a look at the map case, and what kind of things are you looking for? Well, you already said a built-up area.
So like a farm or anything with people in it.
Right. Okay, so who's going to be taking a look at that?
Simmons will take a look at that.
Alrighty, Simmons. Okay, so perception is usually savvy. Savvy plus either ops, navigation. Can you kind of tell me what you're what you want to roll, and like what kind of information you're looking for on the map? So if you're just looking for pretty much buildings and general built-up area in that, it's going to be savvy. That's pretty much a surrogate for perception in this game.
Yep.
Versus either
observation,
either navigation or observation. Command ops would be a good one, but I don't think anyone has any dots in command ops yet.
Command ops.
Command ops is the advanced skill under operations. That's
pretty
much,
no, I don't think I could.
Officers up. That's, where does the mission go? Again, you're beginning character,
probably,
so it's not surprising you have no dots there, but that's pretty much like you're not even so much an operator now, you're more of a handler at this point, is the people who have dots in command ops. But in this kind of case, you're almost like working like a handler, because you're just like, okay, I have a general area where to go, but I don't know where I'm really supposed to go.
Yeah, probably navigation or observation. One of those two.
Okay. Awesome. It's going to be a pretty long flight, so yeah, you're going to use savvy. So it's either one. It's only going to be 2 dice.
Yep.
So okay, who spent that previous grid point? Was that Trevor?
Michael's.
That was
spent that grid point.
Michael's. All right. Yeah. So he's already feeling a little sleepy. So now Simmons has got the map. Does he want to spend a grid point on that?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, no worries. I'll take it out. Cool. So he's got 2 dice.
Okay. 1 success.
Cool. He's now down to a 5. Yeah, he sees where there are some buildings. Oh, sorry. Yeah. 10 minus 4 minus 1 is 5. So it got a little bit smaller. You're down to 5. Okay, so yeah, you identify a couple of spots. You and the helicopter pilot agree on an area, to the southeast of this general location, and he's going to drop you off there.
Okay, cool.
All right. So, okay, again, in a real storytelling game, there'd be a lot more to us. Maybe the helicopter would be shot at. You'd land on some villagers, and they're going to go run and tell ISIS about you. Who knows what's going on? But for now, they drop you off in the desert, and the helicopter takes off. Oh, let's set up a rendezvous time. Rendezvous time and a pickup point.
Okay, rendezvous time. I have no idea how long operations take.
Well, you're within 7 miles
Okay.
on the outside, but the trouble is you don't know exactly where you're going. So 7 miles is usually about a 2-hour hump. You figure an hour for recon, and then win, lose, or draw, the firefight's going to be quick. And if everything's okay, you get back here. Yeah, 12 hours on the outside.
12 hours sounds good.
8 to 12. All right, cool. All right, so you set up a time with the guy. That's going to be a wits plus navigation check.
Yep. I think Trevor might be.
Yes, Trevor's got. They both have 2. Actually, Trevor would be worse. He has nothing in. He has nothing in that.
Okay, so Simmons is going to make the thing.
Yep.
2 fails.
All right, so you're sitting there arguing with the helicopter pilot for a while. Try again. He's getting really irate with you at this point.
1 success.
All right, there you go. Usually, just to get the story going, what I'll just do is like, okay, look, dude, you fucking succeeded, and I'll take off a grip point.
Yep.
But that didn't happen here. All right, cool. So he finally takes off. All right, you got coordinates set up. And again, you're beginning operator, so you're looking at a grid map like, what? Where are all these squares? Beginning character.
We got numbers and letters.
Yeah. All right, so you set that up. You set up the time. You were given the time in like Eastern time zone, and you're like, dude, we're in Syria, right? He's like grumbling, fuck's sake, what? They're sending babies out here now. What the hell's going on? So he flies off, chewing on a cigar or something. He's all pissed off. All right, but whatever. You got it set up now. All right, and you start heading off to where you're headed. Now. All right, so you have like 4 locations that you have picked out as possible spots. So you're going to spend the first hour getting to the first location. Cool. So what we're going to do here super fast is I'm going to roll a general shit the bed dice here. On a scale of 1 to 10, what happens on the way there? Again, in a real story, this would be a lot more planned out and scripted or whatever. Uh-oh, a 10.
Oh, that's bad.
Okay, yeah, that was the maximum number possible to roll.
That's the tank company, isn't it?
I was just going to say, I'm totally bringing a tank on. Good thing I don't have a tank piece made up. All right, so again, just to kind of get things going here, so I don't want this chat to be super long. Yeah, you are heading down the road. Now, who is leading the way? It's going to have to be the navigation guy again.
Yep.
He's the only guy.
So the Simmons.
All right, so all right, he's not really in a rush now, so we can probably bump that up to education plus navigation. As long as he understands he's taking. But you know what? It's a 7-mile hump, and you gave yourself 12 hours, so yeah, you're not rushed. So yeah, that's the difference usually between wits and education is how fast the brain has to work and how deep the brain can work. So education plus navigation is the dice roll for Simmons.
3, 4. 4 success.
4 successes. Okay, you find the place easily enough. That was no problem. It's definitely not your place. So 4 successes minus 5. You now got only 1. Again, we're whittling down from that 10 number earlier. We had 4 plus 1. I think plus 1 plus 4. Yeah, so we're down now to 1. Okay. 4 plus 4 plus 1 is 9. So yeah, we're down now to just 1. You now are pretty much sure where it is. Once it gets to 0, you're definitely sure. The problem is, there is some T-54s in this village. And now we have to see whether or not they saw you. So the Syrian tank commander, who has 3 dice in Savvy, he's got 2 dice in Savvy. He's got he's a tank commander, so he's going to have 3 dice in tactics, and he does have binoculars. Oh, I'm stacking dice in the box, and I'm again not showing my thing. So again, 2 dice in savvy, 3 dice in tactics, 1 dice for his binoculars. Basically, he's looking around. Okay, you have to roll to remain not seen before you saw this thing. We'll say the engines weren't running.
Yep.
Yeah, again, you're taking your time, so it's going to be either education or savvy plus terrain nav. So whoever's in charge on that front.
So that'd be Simmons would do education and terrain nav.
There you go. So that's 7 dice. Here comes the Syrian commander. Did you want to spend a grit point on this?
Yeah, I better spend a grip point on this.
All right, so that is going to be our boy here. So boom, you start off with 1. The Syrian commander, just as a quick rules point, everybody, cannot spend a wit point. He does not know this is an important moment. He doesn't know that the enemy's out there yet, so he does not get to spend a grit point. That's kind of one of the differences in how willpower gets spent. So here comes the Syrian roll. Uh-oh. 1, 2, 3 successes. Okay, you better get at least 2 successes on your roll.
So I have 7 dice.
Yep. Target number 6.
4 successes.
4 successes plus the 1 you spent in grit makes 5. That defeats the Syrian's 3. Okay, so the Syrian tank commander did not see you. As you crested you guys were just pretty much cruising over the dune, and then it's like, why does it smell like diesel smoke? Holy shit, that's a tank. And it's like, hit the deck as fast as you can, or whatever, and, kind of looked it out there, and it's like, oh crap, yeah, that's ISIS out there, and they've got armor. There's a technical in there with 23mm autocannon and at least one, probably a T-55 out there, chugging along, kicking up dust and smoke and shit.
Yep.
Yeah, it's definitely not that village, and it's a good thing because you're not getting in there without one hell of a battle. All right, so now you've only got 1 uncertainty level left or whatever. You're pretty sure it's the next village on your list on your little plastic map that you took out of the helicopter. So, yeah, it's time to make the next education plus navigation check.
Okay.
Novus Templar, I usually run with groups of about 4 people. It's actually the ideal amount. 3 will work. Actually, as we can see here, 1 works, but really 2. I like at least 2. 3 is okay. 4 is ideal. Myself plus 4 people is usually the best group. At least
3 successes.
Okay, 3 successes. Yeah. Okay, it wasn't the
More
next
people
village, so you're positive it's the next one. It's the 3rd village. Let's take a quick check. 7. Okay, there was nothing really there at that village. Okay, I mean, there were some gunmen, but you don't go in there, so it's no problem. Okay, and we finally get to where we're aiming at. All right, so all you see are a couple of buildings. Then you can approach from any direction or any angle, whatever. This is the general area that we're looking at here. 6 for a Spec Ops team. 6 would work for the characters. I don't know if I want to play with 6 players. Sitrep, that would get tough. The system is ironing out pretty well. There's just going to be like already for a game that's only 2 days old. The few things I would want to add, there are some skill issues I want to kind of play around with a little bit, and I want to clarify and tighten up some of the attributes. I'm already having a problem with wits plus savvy, so I'm going to work on that. But yeah, technically 6 is a Spec Ops team, is like half an able team. An able team is usually 6, right? Or 12, and they break them into 6s. Sitrep podcast. I guess we could have 6 if we really wanted to. We could have some players playing more than we could have some players playing more than 1 character. That would work. But yeah, that game would start to chug if we got 6 players in the group all at once. And again, it depends on how long you guys want to play. We've been at it here for over an hour, and we're just now reaching the first encounter. So, yeah. Okay, so actually, you don't really see any of these people yet, but you do see these buildings from like half a mile away. All right, so what kind of steps do you want to take before you approach it, if any?
Okay, ready weapons. So check magazines, make sure they're all loaded.
Okay, that's actually not a bad idea. Again, you're taking your time, so yeah, I'm gonna have to clean up the distinction between these three. I was trying to keep a low number of attributes, but it's getting to the point where I wish they were broken out more. Okay, no worries. Wits is just basically common sense stuff. Okay, so
Yep.
this is okay. So wit plus base camp check. That's what it would be.
Okay, yep. So
There you go.
that's 3 dice
Yep,
for Michael's. 1 success.
no problem. Yeah, everything's fine.
And Simmons is.
Oh, do you have the sheet up, or do you need me to? Simmons has.
Oh, no, I got
Okay.
it here. Yep. So Simmons got.
He's got 3 dice. You can throw in
three.
there.
Also 1.
Okay, yeah, he found one thing wrong. One of his pistol bullets in his automatic wasn't seated right in the mag, but he fixed it. Everything's cool.
Go.
Cool. Nice check. All right, now, yeah, like I said, all you see is that basic terrain and some empty buildings.
Okay, I want to approach from the south.
All right. So who's taking lead? And that is going to be
Simmons is going to take lead.
that's going to be a savvy plus terrain nav check. So yeah, 4 dice.
1, 2. 2 success.
Okay, no problem. No booby traps, no IEDs, anything like that. How close do you want to get?
I would like to
say in
actually.
meters. Like 500 meters, 250.
Let's go 250. Let's
Okay.
get nice and close.
All right. And yeah, the map shows some degree of. I literally just had to boost this map on Google Images. I mean, later on I'll draw my own maps, but for now I was just trying to get things going super fast. The map just shows some rocks and some scrub, so it's not like open desert, so there is some cover. But you get 250 meters away and to the point where you can see these buildings. Okay. You don't really see anybody yet. In fact, let me go ahead and take these guys off the map because they may not be there. I'm gonna roll to see like where these guys are at any given moment. But you do see a little bit of smoke coming out of a chimney, and you do see some cell phone or not cell phone, like a satellite dish on the roof that looks suspiciously new. I mean, you have like this old, like, whatever, however old, a typical desert, adobe building kind of thing. And then right on top of that is this, clearly out of place, satellite dish. So it's like, oh, I think there might someone be in there.
Yeah, that's probably the house. Okay, so I'm going to approach from the south, being very cautious,
All right.
trying to ID. We've sort of ID'd the main building, so I'm going to try and ID the building to the south, to my right hand side there.
All right, so we're going to take this area under observation. Who's doing that?
That would be Simmons.
Simmons, yes, he has at least 1 dot in observation. Okay, so someone's going to have to make a tactics check. That's going to be again, we're not using, a savvy plus tactics check and a savvy plus observations check are the 2 rolls that are required. And the contested roll is going to be how careful the Syrians are being. Somebody in that building has 2 dots in savvy and 2 dots in tactics. So I'm going to roll this off camera, and so you don't know exactly what your target number is.
Yep.
Okay, I have my result. I know how cautious the Syrians are being. Okay, and you don't, but someone's got to make those 2 checks.
Simmons is going to do the tactics.
Okay. Simmons is going to do the tactics. He has basically
3
2
success.
dice. Oh, no, he's got 4. Oh, shit. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
All right,
3
awesome.
successes.
All right, so Simmons is using tactics to observe this building. Okay, he's like, okay, there's a road here. He's looking at fields of fire. He's looking at it from a tactical sense. And yeah, sure enough, he spots one guy out here having a smoke. You beat the roll by 2, I should say. So there's also a guy up here on this corner.
Okay.
All right. And right now, again, this guy's having a smoke. This guy's rifle is in his hand, but he's not exactly, it's not in his shoulder, eye welded to the stock, to the rear side aperture.
Yeah.
He's, probably, having a smoke
Just
too.
on guard.
Drinking a beer or something, yeah. The weapon is in his hand, though. He's not like
Yep.
asleep with his feet up on the wall. So on a scale of 1 to 10, he's probably like a 6 as far as his alertness goes.
Yep. Okay. Now the observation check.
Okay.
That will be Michael's, because Simmons did the tactical, so Michael's will do the
Yep.
observation.
That is Michael's did the Simmons did the tactics check. Yeah.
Yep.
So Michael's going to do the observation check. He has no dots in observation. However,
Yep.
he does have 3 dice in fast talk. So that sounds weird, but this is basically, again, this is mostly like your street guy or whatever.
Yep.
So yeah, he's been enough time on the street. He has this actually tests out that new part of the system where you have 3 dots in something in that school, allows you to make any roll in there at -2. So he
Okay.
pretty much has an alias alt ID. If he ever has to make up an alt ID, he's talked enough shit in his time where he could make up a false identity if he really had to. He only has 1 dot in it basically, but he does or one square in it, but he has 1 square in it. He has 1 square
Yep.
in observation because he's looking at the fast talk check. So he's got 1 in observation and what do we say? 1 in savvy.
Ugh. No success.
All right, yeah, that's all that you guys see for right now.
Yep.
He's looking at that satellite dish going, I wonder if they get
See the
Telemundo
baseball?
out here. Yeah. Simmons is like, come on, man, focus up. All right, so you got 2 guys so far. You're about 200 meters out.
Yep. I'm going to try and advance to 150.
Okay. I've got the Syrian alertness level already.
Yep.
Now they'll make another check because you're coming closer. Okay, this adds to their previous check. Obviously, these successes are continuing to build up. This ensures that you will be spotted eventually. Unless you decide to go stealth in here, sneak around and try and stab somebody in the neck or who knows what. Sitrep podcast. I like the possibility of using the maps for gameplay as you can zoom in for 1-to-1 point of view. And so, yes, yeah, we are. Again, I'm hoping that my maps in the future will be a little better than this, but for now, this is pretty much what we got. Again, I literally just went on Google Images and said, "Give me a desert base or something," and came up with this. Uh-oh. My computer just turned off for some reason. Not my main computer, the one that I was watching Twitch with for some reason. No worries. I guess I will have that boot up while we continue to play. The important computer is still going, so we're good. If I miss a comment on the chat, guys, my computer's booting back up. I'll be back up in a second. Okay, so again, whoever's in charge is going to have to make, again, that terrain navigation check.
Yep. So that'd be Simmons. He's in charge. So 1, 2,
So
3.
he can't use charisma, and yeah, education doesn't really work here. So either it's wits or savvy, doesn't matter.
Yep.
You're getting real close. Cool. Yeah, you got 4 dice.
I'm going to spend a point of grit
There
too.
you go. Boom. Now you have an automatic success.
Yep.
All right, and make your roll, please.
2.
2 plus the one you got from the grit makes 3. The Syrians got exactly 3. They got 1 before. They got 2 more, so their alertness level is now 3. You got 3. You tied. Now they're trying to spot you, or well, they aren't trying to spot you. They don't know you're there yet. But yeah, a tie is basically 0, which means they did not spot you. They're the active, you're the passive. Yeah, but they were looking at your direction for a second. So, yeah, you're at 150 meters. This is pretty much the end of the recon phase. You can make another series of checks now if you want. But from here on out, you're going to either be going in or sneaking in or This is about as close as you can get without risk being spotted.
Yeah, I think it's time to start shooting.
Okay. You don't have to by any means, but I'm saying
Yeah,
just
yeah,
hanging around here with a set of binoculars is we're pretty much at the end of
yeah,
that phase. Once you make this new check, you did succeed, so you get to make another round of checks. But then after that, it's going to be time to move in a
yeah.
little bit.
And I'd rather get the drop on them than have them on alert.
Okay. So
Some checks now.
yeah, I can't remember what. Oops. Hold on here. I'm trying to log in onto the computer here, so I don't miss anything in the chat. Come on, man. All right. The first guy was rolling wits plus terrain. No, it was wits plus tactics. That's right.
Yep. So 4 dice,
Yep.
2 success.
Okay. 2 successes. This guy's under the tree taking a leak. So this building has no indoor plumbing, apparently. Hey, that's more than you knew a second ago.
And the other one was just 2 dice, wasn't it?
Yeah. And that's pretty much because he's got fast. Like he's doing it like streetwise. So one
Yeah.
guy's look. This is where I mean it's always just about a number of dice mechanically, but in a storytelling context, you're always talking about like what kind of things you're looking for. So Simmons, your tactical guy, is looking at things obviously very tactically. He's looking for fields of fire, what ways might be good to approach from, where the enemy's going to post a guard, because that's where I would post a guard if I were in his shoes. The streetwise guy is looking for Michaels. He's looking for where vehicles might have come and gone recently. He's probably the guy that spotted that satellite dish. He sees some smoke coming out of the top. He's looking for the more streetwise stuff.
There's
He's
a
like,
bunch
hey,
of garbage cans in front of this one building, but none in front of the
there
others.
you go.
That sort
Yeah,
of-
they
Yeah.
didn't stop their they didn't stop their newspaper delivery. It's all built up on his freaking doorstep. I don't think people still deliver newspapers in Syria at this point. Okay, so yeah, he's got 2 dice.
Okay. 1 success.
There you go. All right, yeah, sure enough, yeah, he finds one more guy. He's standing out here, and he notices he's carrying a clipboard right by the
Okay.
road. And then looking at his feet or looking down like the street right in front of him, he does see like relatively fresh looking tire tracks. So apparently he's either looking for somebody or awaiting a delivery or something.
Yep. Okay. That's my recon done. Okay. Yep. So that's recon done. I think it's time to actually engage these guys.
Okay.
It could be more. I'm not sure.
Yeah, you're not inside the building. Are you going to try a tactical approach, or are you going to like actually just assault from here?
I'm gonna just assault from here.
Okay, cool.
Get those M4s
All right,
working.
like I said, you're from the south, so you've got lines of sight on this guy who's got partial cover. He's behind that wall, and this guy's pretty much in the open. This guy you can't really see from
Yep.
the south, at least not. Who knows where he's moving around. I mean, your guy did just spot him, but he doesn't have a line of sight on him, or a clean line of fire, because he's like pacing around, smoking a cigarette, wondering where the hell this
Yep.
truck is. And this guy just got done doing his thing, and he went inside.
Yep.
He did the quick, 2 shakes and go, and there he goes. He's back inside.
All right. So Simmons is going to take the guy on the roof.
Alrighty. You're 100 meters out, or 150 meters out. Simmons. Here we go. Alright, he's going to try a assault rifle shot at this range. Cool.
Yep.
The enemy does not know you're there. He's got 2 dice in dexterity. Rifle, 3. He's got a total of 5 dice. Awesome. Alright, let's go to the data table. Oh,
I'll also
sorry.
spend a point of grit
Okay.
just because I really want.
Okay, so a M4 assault carbine, accuracy +1. So some weapons are just more accurate than others. The length of the barrel, the ballistics, or whatever, that all gets boiled down into an accuracy bonus. Accuracy 1. Rifle 3. That's 4. Dexterity 2 more. That's 6. Okay, a couple small choices that you get to make now. Combat with firearms. Declare target, yes. Declare rate of fire. Okay, your assault carbine has a rate of fire of up to 3. Okay, so people who look at real fast, okay, you look at the ammo chart. Everything in this game is done by like basically a combat shot. It's not individual bullets. It's usually like a 3-round burst, 2 rounds of bullets or whatever, who knows what. Okay, so this thing can fire up to, again, assault rifle small is pretty much what you've got. You have an M4, platform, kind of a carbine thing. But right now you've got a potential rate of fire of 3. You can take 3 shots, but that's a lot less accurate. Or you can declare that you're taking 1 shot. Where's that rule? Declare rate of fire up to the max. If choosing 1, you get a +2 to your bonus for that one sniper-like shot. I say sniper-like because you do not have a sniper rifle. You don't have a laser sight, a scope, a bipod. There's all these other things that we could have added, but we were kind of in a rush. This mission is kind of in a rush, and again, we're just playtesting, so it's all good.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, the game does have some depth where you can really get into the nitty-gritty as far as this kind of thing. But so you want to go for a bunch of bullets or for 1 precisely aimed shot?
I'm going to go for 1 precisely aimed shot.
Okay, that's going to bump you up to what did I say? 6. That's going to bump you up now to 8. So you got 8 dice. Declare a rate of fire. Okay, dex plus appropriate skill plus accuracy minus cover. He's staying behind, how those desert buildings are where there's a little bit of a wall. So we're going to take off 1 dice for very partial cover. Point blank or surprise. Maybe auto hit all dice successes. He does have surprise, but it says maybe. You know what? Because we're trying the system out for the first time, go ahead and make the roll. I keep forgetting, 8 dice. 8 dice. Target number is 6 as always. To put 1 bullet into that into that guard.
Yep.
Here we go, guys. Our very first shot fired in HK Ops.
5 successes.
Okay, that was a pretty good hit. Okay, so how bullet damage works. Bullets hurt. Okay, this isn't like D&D where you get hit by 50 magic missiles and you're still okay. Bullets are nasty. All right. So 5 hits. Damage equals successes to hit plus damage of the weapon versus the target's stamina plus 3. This guy's pretty much a basic insurgent, so we're going to give him a stamina of 2. So your target number is a 5. The tougher the guy is, the harder it is to damage him, even against bullets. He saves with armor only. Guess what? This guy's not wearing body armor. You're up against Russian FSB agents, which your next mission in Syria, you might be up against Russian. Who knows what you might be going up against.
Yep.
But for now, you're up against. This guy's going to be pretty easy, I'm hoping. Okay, so M4 assault carbine. He got 5 successes to hit. So the more accurate, the better your shot is, the more damage it does. I'm assuming you're going for a lethal shot?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
You never know. So for now, I'm just going to ask. And I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to work that, but it allows you to pretty much call your shot where it's not as lethal as it was before. But no worries. You did not increase your target number by anything, so you get no extra damage for a call shot or anything. Speaking of call shots, but it's a general hit, but it was a pretty solid hit. 5 successes is good. Now, normally, if the enemy knows you're coming, he gets an agility test against that. He doesn't so much get to dodge, but he is moving tactically. He is, trying not to be shot. Because this was a surprise, it was a one-ended shot. And so, yeah, it's going to be pretty lethal. 5 successes to hit, that's pretty much center massed. 5 successes to, the weapon does 5 additional. So it's going to be a total of 10. 10 dice. Make sure I'm not missing anything. Yeah, 10 dice versus his stamina plus 3, which is 2, which means your target number is a 5. 10 dice versus 5.
Yep. Okay. 10. I'll have to do 5 and 5.
Okay.
I haven't got 10 dice. 3 in the first slot. And 2 in the second.
So it's a total of 5 hits. He has no armor, so he can't absorb any of that. So that is -5. All right, boom, that's a hit. And he goes down, for sure. He's not completely incapacitated. He goes down. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's at heavy bleeding. So he's going to lose an additional level every round until a first aid guy gets to him. All right, he's going to lose a level every turn until a first aid guy gets to him. And he is going to, he's at -2 to anything he tries to do. So anything he tries to do, he's at -2 to his dice to even try to, do anything. So he's already in pretty bad shape. He's halfway down the wound table. Okay, so that was his first action. Actions for... Oh, I'm the wrong guy here. Actions for Simmons are based on his agility plus stamina divided by 2. So he has 2 actions. Okay, so now we're going to go over to Trevor Michaels. What was he doing while you were taking that shot?
He was taking a shot at the guy smoking to the right.
Okay, so he's going to make the same kind of roll. His dexterity plus rifle is also 5. He's declaring one shot or a 3-round burst.
1 shot.
Okay, so he's got +2 to his dice roll for that. +1 for the accuracy of the weapon, +2 for slow rate of fire is 3 plus 5 total pool in dexterity plus firearms. Again, same. We arrived there differently, but the same basic idea. He's looking at 8 dice versus a 6.
Okay. 6 hits.
There you go. Nice. So that's 6 automatic hits plus, 6 dice. 6 dice plus damage of 1 for the weapon is 11. 11 dice versus a 5.
All right, let's do these in 2 lots. 3 in the first one.
Yep.
And 4 in the second.
That is 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's already got organ damage at -3. So he gets hit a little higher, pretty much right in the chest. One of his lungs just imploded. That was this guy right here.
Yep.
All right, yeah, so he is in really bad shape, -7, which means he's going to lose 2 every turn unless somebody gets to him. And the worst news for him is he is already in the red, and once you're in the red, you can't really take care of yourself. Somebody has to get to you. This guy can probably try to, do something, slap a friggin' bandage on, or rip off his t-shirt and stick it in the hole. He can try and do something if he wants to take that for his action. But this guy he's basically a mission kill. Because I don't think these ISIS guys have too many medics, ready to help them out. So he might already be in pretty bad trouble. Okay, so that was their first 2 actions. We're going to give the Syrians 2 actions a turn, or 2 actions each. Oops, wrong map. Okay, so super fast. This guy's incapacitated. This guy is he can't really take care of. Well, he tries to move undercover, but he's at -7. All right, he's at -7 hits, which means he's at -3 dice. So 2 plus 2 is 4, -3 is only 1. He's going to try and get the hell out of there on his first action. He rolls a 1, he fails, so he's pretty much laying there. The other guy on the roof is only down 2 dice. That's 2 plus 2 is his normal roll or whatever for attribute plus skill. -2 dice is 2. He's going to try a wound check on himself to try and take care of himself a little bit.
Yep.
He rolls a 6 and a 4. He got 1 success, so he did stabilize himself. A first aid check. The first success stabilizes you, so you don't lose anymore. Okay, if you're in the green, you don't have to worry about that. And then any successes after that actually crank you back up the table a little bit. You can't keep rolling first aid on the same wound. You get 1 roll per wound. Okay, and it's pretty much you looking at the wound and seeing how bad it really is. But as far as actual healing goes, that's going to have to be done back at base camp. So that guy is still at -5, but he's no longer, bleeding out. And he's back now, down pretty much under heavy cover now. He's like laying down behind that lip in the wall.
Yep.
The other guy though is in pretty serious trouble. So that was their first two actions. Two other guys' first action. This guy ducks back inside, and this guy is going to move to the window. He's like, "What the hell's going on out there?" All right. Cool. So up to you now for your second action, and I think one of your guys has a third action. You want to run towards the structure, or do you want to continue to fire?
Yeah, I'm going to move towards the main building.
Okay,
with
cool.
with Michaels.
All right, so Michaels, we'll just use this guy, gets pretty much on the map. Where on the bottom of you said you were coming in from the south. So where along this map did you want to come in at?
The rock second from the right.
Something like that? Oh, second
Yep.
from the right. Yeah, okay. All right, so you're approaching from this direction, I'm assuming, to cover you for most of this fire that might be coming in this way. So we'll give
Yep.
you a partial cover area there. Okay, and I'm sorry, that was Simmons? Or was that
Michaels, sorry. That's
That was
Michaels.
Michaels? Okay, so what's Simmons doing with Simmons' last action?
Okay, Simmons is going to advance along the road in between the buildings on the right hand side there. Up that road.
Cool. So pretty much you had to run that last 150 meters. So just getting on the map was the rest of that action. Now, one of your guys, okay, that was second action. Syrians get a second and last action. This guy is still in really bad shape. He's going to try again. Dice cam up. Normally, he has 4 dice. He's losing 3 because of his wound, which means he only has 1, 5. He literally can't move back around those barrels. He's pretty much probably going to bleed to death right there. This shooter on the roof has managed himself up as best he can. He's now peeking back over the top of that little thing. He's going to try and take a shot at, that would be, I keep getting this wrong here. This would be Michaels on this side? Okay, he's going to try and take a shot at Michaels. Now, the difference between what just happened is that now, and how the firefight's going to go from here on out, is Michaels obviously knows there's a firefight in progress. Surprise, surprise. Spoiler alert. He started it. So, he's going to get, some cover or whatever. So, Trevor Michaels sees an enemy coming at him. Give me an agility plus... Oh, God. We can't have terrain nav be everything. But it might wind up being damn near everything. Again, I'm going to have to change the skill model here a little bit. Obviously, if you want to keep using these characters, it will be free and clear to rearrange ratings as the game changes.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, it's super quick to make new ones. So.
Yeah. Yeah, because what I'm trying to avoid is having the same skill be used for everything. Yeah, for now it's going to be agility plus terrain nav. So agility plus terrain nav is pretty much you navigating the terrain in such a way where you don't get hit.
Yep.
Cool. And
That's 5 dice.
you got some cover because of that rock. Two extra dice for that rock that you're hiding behind.
Okay, so 7.
Uh-oh. What's the matter, Jen?
Nothing. There's just a lot of chat about people talking about their characters.
Oh,
I
sorry.
don't know if you were seeing it or not.
Too intense for OBS.
No, that's not the card chat.
Oh my god, dude. I got kicked off the chat entirely. Sorry, guys. Give me 2 seconds. I'm literally looking at comments from the last chat. Oh my god. I'm so sorry, everybody. Alright, I missed a bunch of chat. Guys, I'm so sorry. I was looking at the wrong thing. I've got 2 computers going here, and I got kind of screwed up there. I've got one. I'm here, Jen. I'm fine. Feral Gamers Inc. RPG.
That's YouTube.
Yes, I know, Jen. I'm looking at both chats. Okay, cool. I have some chat here I might have missed here. Characters already. Ash Caldamain. Hopefully I'm getting that right. Genuinely thinking of characters already. Cool. South African Doctor and Trauma ER. Yeah. One of the games that I kind of based this off of, not to keep Alisar in too much suspense to see if he gets shot, I'm going to go ahead and chat with our community for a while. Is one of the games that I based this, I won't say I based this off of, but one of the games that I use as an influence for this is a little known, almost completely forgotten little gem of a game called Millennium's End. It's an old cheesy game from 1993. I don't really recommend the game because it's made a lot of bad predictions about how the future would look. But it's one thing I love about the game. I swear to God, if I had to guess, if I was a gambling man, this game was designed by an EMT technician because the wound system in Millennium's End is insanely accurate. Hydrostatic shock, burns, abrasions, punctures, lacerations. You don't take hit points. It goes into one of these categories, and they have different things. I honestly think it was designed by an EMT tech or a trauma surgeon or something. And it's a great little game. Yeah, 3 tours honorable discharge due to medical conditions. Yeah, awesome, dude. We love those super deep backstories. A U.S. soldier or grunt served a couple tours, gone to college afterwards, but can't settle in a cubicle life. I know how that goes, to a certain extent, although not really. No, you are absolutely not thinking too deeply into this, Alice Caladan. You are not. Okay. We played a game, a campaign running from 1997 to 2008 when it finally ended. When that chronicle was complete, it was a little supernatural, it was a little silly, but we all had fun doing it. It was wound up with a total of 42 players and 4 million words of text because everything we did was written down. It took us 11 years to do it, but no, dude, trust me, when it comes to role-playing, we go all in. The only challenge for me is going to be developing a system that will support it to the degree to which the players want to really get into it. Another thing that we're looking at here is, again, if you're talking about a South African and an American player, we could totally go with that PMC option to make sure that we're inclusive and everybody can play whatever kind of characters they want. Again, a strictly military game run realistically can be fun. I'm not saying that we don't do it if whatever the group wants, but we do get into some restrictions that can be not so fun to go into.
There were a lot of South African PMCs in the 90s.
Yeah.
Was it Executive Outcomes, the Simon Mann run company that tried to do a coup? That's a pretty interesting story there. But yeah, that lot of stuff in Africa, working on behalf of the African governments with a lot of South Africans.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we got plenty of options, guys. And Feral Game RPG, interesting system, seems pretty cool. I'm over on YouTube now. Thanks very much. Number of special units that have females. I believe there's like Navy SEALs recruiting. Oh, cool, awesome. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, we're keeping our options wide open. I mean, for all we know, if we want to play a formal military game and set it in the year 2030, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, things aren't going to change that much in the next 10 years. And once we set it in the future, hell, the sky's the limit. We can do whatever we want. Yeah, there's a way. Yeah. I mean, it's all about storytelling, and it's all. Again, Millennium's End. I took some information from this. The Renegade Legions RPG, and probably for the deep DNA, the old 1990-91 version of White Wolf's original storyteller system. I'm going back to the Mark Reinhagen and Sam Chupp days over in Stone Mountain, Georgia. This is not the way White Wolf is nowadays, but back in the day, White Wolf was a very, very different company. And stationed where I was in the Marine Corps at the time, I actually got a chance to very briefly, I doubt they would ever remember me, very briefly meet some of these guys at some of the events they used to have in the Atlanta area. An absolutely fantastic system, enough to where it pulled me into a genre I previously had absolutely no interest in. It pulled me into, get this, it pulled me into vampires and werewolves. This is Oriskany talking. It pulled me into vampires and werewolves, and I didn't come up for air for almost 20 years. That's how good that system was, as far as letting you really create a dynamic character that you can use for storytelling and narrative. Which is kind of a dumbed down version we're using here. Speaking of which, okay, so he's taking a shot at Michaels. Did you make your agility plus terrain navigation check versus a 6?
Yep. Yeah, I got 4.
4 successes. Okay, so however many successes that I get on my firearms check is I'm going to have to take 4 successes off of that. So now it's a contested roll because both sides know there's a
Yep.
fight going on. So from here on out, it's going to get nasty. All right, so the Syrian guy has an AKM. We'll say it's one of the new Russian ones that has so it's an assault rifle small. Okay, +1 accuracy. +1 accuracy. He's got 2 in dex. He's got 2 in rifle. He knows there's a firefight going on now, so he's spraying out the window as best he can. I.e., he's not taking the -1 shot. So he's going to roll this number. The difference is he has to lose 4 successes off of the roll. All right, so that was 1, 2, 3. That was a miss. He's going to roll again. Why is he going to roll again? He's firing on automatic. Like I said, he's not using the rate of fire 1 for the 2 bonus. He gets the full rate of fire, that's 3. So he gets 3 chances at this. But again, he's got to make at least 5 successes out of 5 dice. I don't like his chances. So he's pretty much unloading a magazine out the window. And I keep not showing my webcam. Sorry, guys. But he keeps not getting enough successes. He got 2 successes, 3 successes, and on this one, he got only 2 successes. Yeah, there are bullets hissing through the desert air. There might be some pinging off of that rock, but he didn't actually come anywhere close to you. But yeah, there's definitely fire coming out of a window there, and they're zipping around and pinging around through this brush, knocking branches out of that tree, kicking up the sand, maybe sparking off that rock. But you're good so far. That was his second action, and now the guy on the roof is going to go ahead and take a shot because he bandaged himself up before.
Yep.
So he's at -2 because of his wound. He's still in bad shape. 2 for dex, 2 for rifle, accuracy 1 for the rifle. He is going to take the rate of fire bonus, but then he has to lose 2 again because of his wound status. He's literally kneeling in a puddle of his own blood. And 1, 2, no, he missed as well, and he only had 1 shot. So that's it for them so far. And that was all of their first actions. All of their... Oh, I'm sorry, that was all of their second action. Sorry.
Yep.
Second action.
Yep.
This guy's second action. Who knows what he's doing? You don't know what he's doing. He's inside somewhere. Okay, that's going to conclude the second action. And then I think one of your guys has a third action. So the higher your rating in dexterity and agility, the more actions you get a turn. So your guy here, Michaels, has 3 in both. He's pretty good in both. He has a third whole action he can take now.
Okay. Do like this position, but I also do need to get inside. So he's going to advance and fire on the guy in the window.
Okay, he wants to advance and fire.
Yep.
Okay, that is something we call splitting the dice pool. You can do it, but basically you have to take whichever one you're doing first. Your movement or your movement. I'm sorry, your movement or your fire. You roll that. However many dice you used on that, you don't have to use all of them. But however many dice you used on that, you have to comes off the other thing you want to do in that same turn. It's how you do more than one thing in an action. Again, not my idea. That's one of the beautiful things about this system. So this is Trevor Michaels. Trevor Michaels has agility 3, terrain nav of 5. Well, it becomes 5. So how much does he want to use to move?
I'll use 2 to move.
Okay. Now, I know it sounds weird to have to roll to walk, but again, this isn't just walking. This is dodging. This is moving around.
Yep.
The Syrians have used up all their fire, so he can probably get away with using very few dice here, but God forbid if there is another guy in that building he doesn't know about, or if there's a booby trap, or if there's something, or, he's got to,
Yep.
it's how cautious he wants to be. And the mechanic basically reflects that however much caution and care and how much attention he's paying to his tactical movement is that much that's coming off of his rifle shot.
Yep.
So,
Okay, so 2 dice.
Okay, you're going to use 2 dice. Cool.
Yep. 1 success.
Okay, 1 success. If anyone takes a shot at you now, you only take 1 dice off of that. Okay. Yep. Now, full disclosure, I already know what this guy was doing with his second action. You don't know what it is yet, but I know what he was doing with his second action. And he already took his second action. He took his second action, move, and fired. And again, these guys might have more than 2 actions. But these are low-level ISIS guys. So where are you moving to? You can move up to the length of that ruler.
Okay, he's going to move pretty much straight north towards the ladder on the south side of the building, of the main building.
Okay, so he can make it about that far.
Yep.
Okay, does he want to stay in that tree, or because right now he's literally in the middle of a yard. He has literally no cover where he's standing right now.
Hmm. Yeah, he'll stay back where the tree is.
He'll stay under the tree a little bit and get at least some cover from the trunk of that tree. All right, cool. Now he can go ahead and take his shot. He just has to take 2 dice off the pool to account for his movement.
Yep. And the shot is against the uninjured guy firing from the window. So
okay. So yeah, he's got heavy cover. So all right, let me go back to my table here. Medium cover, heavy. All right, so medium cover because he is kind of hanging out the window there. He's not trying to hide entirely. So it's -4 dice off for the cover and -2 for your movement. You're taking 6 off of your pool. You're starting off with your 3 in dex, 2 in rifle. That's 5. 1 for the rifle makes 6. Are you taking the 1 shot?
I better take 3. Yeah.
Well, you actually can only fire 1 at this point because again, 1, 2, 3, dexterity. 1, 2 in rifle. That's 5, and 1 from the bonus of the weapon. That gives you a total of 6. You're subtracting 6.
I'll have to,
You're getting literally 0 dice pool. So if you take 1 well-aimed shot, you at least have a chance with 2 dice.
And I'll spend a grit point.
Oh, okay. He's running out of grit points.
Yes.
All right. Trevor's not the most toughest guy. So he's got 1 automatic success, 2 dice versus a 6.
Okay. 1 success.
So that 1 plus 1 makes 2. 1 from the grit and 1 from your roll makes 2. Plus 5 for the damage of the weapon makes 7 dice against a 5.
Okay.
Because these aren't very. There's no gym in this town. These guys don't work out. They don't have very good stamina.
4 success.
4 successes. Okay, he is down to a broken bone. You probably put a bullet through his shoulder, and you broke his bone as he was leaning out the window there. All right, so he is at -4. Okay, that was the 3rd action. No one on the table has actions left. That means that this guy now goes. That's the end of the turn, is what that basically means. Yep. The number 5 guy was stabilized. The number 4 guy was not stabilized. He didn't really have a chance to. And he is in the yellow, so he goes down to another one just from the blood loss. Okay, he's going to have to try and stabilize himself next turn. Meanwhile, this guy, who's in really bad shape, goes down 2 more. He's now down to 9. Because again, if you're in red, you go down 2 levels a turn, not 1. Back to the chart. He was at 7 from your damage. He takes 2 now. He's incapacitated. That basically means he's unconscious at that point. And he's just pretty much going to bleed out right there. Because now literally nobody can get to him. And he obviously can't help himself. He literally just passed out. And his heart technically hasn't stopped, but he is effectively killed. He's just entering those first post-death tremors at the moment. So that's it for him. And, okay, that's it for turn 1. Okay, turn 2. Everyone now knows there's a firefight in progress. Okay, so there's no more surprise. The reason I mention that is we are going to go to a little something we like to call initiative. Okay, initiative is based off of your wits plus your tactics. So wits plus tactics is 3. That's how you got 3 dice there. And Mr. Williams has only 1 dot in wits, but he's got 3 in tactics. That guy knows a battlefield, at least for a beginning character. Okay, so that's your total that's your total initiative pool. We have how many guys left on the map? 1, 2, 3. Oh well, he's down 2 for his wound. He's down 2 for his wound. He doesn't count. So the Syrians have. We're just going to assume 2 and 2. I'll make up more detailed NPCs later, but for now we're just going to assume they have 2 and 2 and almost everything. So that was 4. Again, when you take 5 points of damage though, that takes 2 off your dice pool. Again, for people in the chat, that is the -2 that we see here for wound level 5. They're both in the heavy bleeding stage, at least at the moment. So that guy up there gets 2 dice for his initiative. 4 minus 2. He gets 2 successes. All right, so I'll remember that. The guy in the window gets only 1 success. And the guy inside who is not yet wounded gets 4. He gets 0. Oh, he gets 1. I'm sorry. All right, so those are the 3 remaining Syrian shooters that we know about at the moment. Okay, Trevor has no wounds, and Trevor has Michaels. Michaels has initiative of 3, so roll 3 dice against the 6.
2.
2. Okay, so you tied with that first guy. We'll roll a tiebreaker a little bit later on. And then what did Mr. Simmons get with his 4?
3 for Simmons.
Okay, Simmons is definitely going to go first. So Simmons goes first, and then we're going to see how these other 2 guys do. That is Man on the Rooftop versus Michaels. All right, so I'm just going to roll 1d10 because we tied on our basic rolls. So now it's basically 1d10. I'm just going to see how high I can roll. High roll wins. I got a 10. Uh-oh.
I also got a 10.
Oh, cool. We'll roll again. A 9.
7.
This guy really
You
doesn't.
get that one?
He does not want to. He doesn't want to go down. At least not without a fight. Okay. The good news for you is that Mr. Simmons over here has 3 successes, so he goes first.
Yep. So he is going to advance to the corner of the building.
Okay. His movement is again the length of this ruler. So that's like a general guide. I'm not gonna get it's a role-playing game, not a war game. So he goes up there. He peeks around the corner, and he can move a little bit more after that.
Okay. And he doesn't see anybody.
No, he doesn't.
So he's going to sit. He's going to sit right there because he doesn't want to end his move in the open.
Okay, cool. That's his first action. First action for the next guy is the Syrian. He has a total of, again, 2 plus 2 plus 1 for the rifle minus 2 for his wound plus 2 for being plus 2 for taking only 1 shot. So he's got a grand total of 5 successes. He's going to go ahead and try and take a shot at Mr. Williams. Mr. Williams, try and roll agility plus. You're not moving right now, so agility plus tactics.
Okay. Only 2.
Okay, I just got 3 successes by spending a grit point. The enemy has grit 2 once in a while, so that is going to be 1 net success. You have actually been hit. Okay, and then it's 5 for the 5 for the I'm sorry. Yeah, 5 for the rifle and 1 for the degree of his success. He pretty much clipped well, we hope so. Again, the more accurate the hit, the more damage it'll do. Now, that was Trevor Michaels, right? Oh man, what are you doing?
Yep.
Hold on, guys. Sorry. So his stamina is 2. Yeah, it's going to be a 5 for me to damage him as well. 1, 2, 3 successes. Now, one of the many differences between you and these ISIS guys is you're wearing body armor that has a rating of 3. You have 3 saves. All right, so roll 3 6s. Or I'm sorry, roll 3 dice. You're trying to roll a 6 or above.
2 saves.
2 saves. So that's 1 actual hit. The bullet literally punched you right in the body armor, and you are at 1 level of damage. You are at bruised. that bruise is going to change. They're going to turn the colors of the rainbow before it's done with you. But as we all
Oh
know,
yeah.
even when you get body armor saves your life. It doesn't take away the pain. I mean, you're still going to the hospital when you take a bullet in body armor. You just aren't going to die, probably. Even that isn't guaranteed, especially with lighter body armor. Okay, so you're at -1. Now, if we look on the chart, we'll see that -1 comes with it a -0. You're so lightly wounded, it's not taking. You're literally just gritting your teeth and
Oh, okay.
powering through
Yep.
it at the moment.
Yep.
One more wound and you start taking off dice. So be careful. All right, so that was his first action. Now we go to Trevor Michael's first action.
Yep.
He's like, oh, "Did you just shoot at me, bitch? Please." All right, it's your turn, sir.
He's going to fire back at the guy on the rooftop.
All right. Always works good if the GM has the extra time. Yeah, I'll work with anyone's backstory however you want. I would like to work with people's backstories if people are serious about coming up with backstories. If we want a formal military campaign, if we want to do a PMC or a post-apocalyptic game, you guys write your backstory and tell me what you come up with. As long as I can get everyone in roughly the same geographical location or working for the same company. For a military game, yeah, we're going to have to work on it. I don't want any 60-year-old lieutenants or, like, oh yes, I'm a SEAL operator with a doctorate in, this, that, and the other thing. Well, dude, by the time you got those multiple PhDs, you were 32. The Navy SEALs don't want you at that point. So that's where it gets tricky. But again, if we're going with the PMC option for an ongoing campaign, or if we're going for any kind of post-apocalyptic setting, man, go for it, guys. As far as your backstories go. Which remind me, I should do a basic write-up and send it to my DM. Oh, yeah, there you go, Rasmus. Hey, take care of your DM. Take care of your DM. Your DM will take care of you. Every time you hear the name Trevor, he thinks of the Toad in the first Harry Potter movie. Are you playing a Toad? I should
No,
download
I got the
a little Toad sprite.
I was trying to think up of a name, and I looked over and I saw the Grand Theft Auto case, and it's Trevor and Michael are two of the main characters. So
Oh, there we go.
I'm awful at names, awful at it.
There we go.
Yeah.
There are some hacks we can talk about a little bit afterwards for that kind of thing. Okay, so yes, it's now you shooting at the rooftop. All right, he's got partial cover, and he's got his agility. Turn on Mr. Map here. He's got 2 in stamina, or whatever, 2 in agility, 2 in terrain navigation or whatever. Oh no, I'm sorry, tactics because he's not moving. And 2 in cover because he is behind a wall, partial wall. Taking 2 off for his wound leaves me with a 4 dice. He rolls his 4. He gets a total of 2 successes. So that's basically his quote-unquote dodge. Although I hesitate to use that term, but that's the difficulty adjustment to hit that guy. Okay, so what kind of shot are you taking?
I think I'll take a just standard shot. I'm not going to go for the 1.
Okay, so you're going to go for a burst. All right, so it is your skill of rifle 2 plus dex. You start off with 5. 1 for the rifle makes 6. And that's it. Take 2. Okay, so roll 6 dice, but the first 2 successes don't count because of my successes on evasion.
Okay. So I got 3 successes. So that goes down to,
so
1 success.
That's a 1-point hit on the first one. Next.
No successes.
Okay.
And the next one, 3 successes again.
That becomes a 1-point hit. So you got 2 1-point hits. So 1 plus 5 is your total number of damage. So roll 6 against 5 for the first one, and then roll 6 against 5 for the second one. You shot him twice more.
Okay. First one, 3.
Yep.
And the next one, 2.
All right, so it's going to be 5 more hits. He's already at 5. He's now at 10. He is now killed. So he did finally go down. Boom.
Nice.
Okay, then we have this guy's finishing to bleed out. This guy has 2 actions. he's gonna do. Let's see. He's got 4. He's gonna. He's gonna take a full action to make that move. So 4 dice versus a 6 is okay. 2 more successes plus his cover. He's basically sort of peeking out the window or the door there. He's kind of taking a look at what's going on out there. Okay.
Yep. Yep.
And then the guy on the roof is going to take his first action. Okay, guy on the roof has 2 in rifle, 2 in 2 in dexterity, 1 for the rifle. He's taking his good shot. -2 for his wound, -2 for your no. I just have to ignore the first 2 successes for your partial cover. 6 and 0 is 2 successes versus your 2 successes with your partial cover. Yeah, barely missed. I got exactly 0 successes. I have to get at least 1 to score a hit. That bullet was close enough to where you felt it. You felt the wind of it go past you. That's the guy on the rooftop, the surviving guy on the rooftop.
Yep.
All right, and that I think is it for everyone's first actions. We start off with
yes,
second
everyone's
actions with, I think this guy led off initiative. That
Yep.
is Simmons.
So Simmons is going to stow his carbine and take out his pistol.
Okay.
I believe Simmons had the pistol, didn't he?
Simmons is carrying the
Okay.
first
Oh
aid
no,
kit.
that's the other guy.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. That's it. Well, in that case, he's going to do a split action to move and fire.
Okay. So where's he moving to?
He's going to move to. He's basically going to go up to that doorway where that guy with the clipboard is standing.
Nobody likes the guy with the clipboard. All right, he's just gonna run right out here. Okay, cool. There he goes.
Yep. And then
Is he gonna shoot at all, or
he's going to shoot. Yep.
okay? How many dice is he using to shoot? Because that guy's gonna take a pock out. He's literally just running, but he's running straight towards him. He's probably gonna get a
Yep.
shot off because he has.
So it'll be,
this guy has actions left.
Yep.
Okay.
It'll be 3 dice to move.
Okay.
So 3 success.
All right. So I'll take 3 off of my chance to hit you. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll take 2 for a single shot, and I have to take 3 successes off of this result. You said you got 3 successes on your land navigation.
Yep.
All right.
3 successes. Yep.
Oh, terrible roll. 1, 2. Do you have any idea how lucky you are? There's my roll.
It's a lot of dice.
Miss. Hit. But you got 3 on your evasion. You got away with
Yep.
that. I can't believe it. But you're there. And now, how many dice did you roll on your movement?
3 dice for the movement.
You got successes on all 3?
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
So now you can take a rifle shot at point blank range. Or no, you said a pistol shot. Pistol shot at point blank range.
Oh, right. He's only got a rifle.
Oh, that's right.
So,
This guy doesn't
yep,
carry the
yeah, the
pistol.
other guy's got a pistol.
Okay. So the M4 carbine, you're literally almost touching him with the muzzle at this point. Cool. So that is going to be, let me count this up here. Your dexterity plus your rifle plus 1 for the rifle. You're now at point blank, so we always give at least 2 dice for that. And the only thing you have to worry about is take 3 dice off because you use 3 dice. So you have 5 dice left. Oh, are you taking a single shot or are you...
I'm going to take a single shot and I'm going to try and call it to be non-lethal.
Okay, single shot. You're back up to 2. Oh, man. All right, hold on. Then I think I have to start over. Oh, no, because, again, it's the rifle. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right, so I keep getting... once you said pistol, I got pistol stuck in my head.
Yeah.
Okay. So 3 for your rifle skill, 2 for the dexterity, 1 for the rifle, 2 for taking only 1 shot. Cool. -3 because you spent 3 points on 3 dice on movement, leaves you with 5. And I know how many points he succeeded with when he made his movement. Basically, he made his own terrain navigation check.
Yep.
So you get 5 dice, but not all of those successes are going to count. However many successes you get.
Yep. And I'm gonna try and be non-lethal with this.
And 2 dice off for cover. He's indoors.
Yep.
All right, so 3, and again, some of those are not going to count. So this is going to be a hell of a good roll.
Yep. 2 success.
2 successes. He got 2 on his check, so you missed each other.
Yep.
And now you're standing there. Pretty much you're right there, but you're like on opposite sides of that door. So whoever kicks the door down first is pretty much going to be it. The problem is that he's now used up both his actions. You've used up 2 actions. I think you've got 1 action left. Is that Simmons or Michaels?
That's
Michaels. No. Yeah, you're both out of actions. All right, that's going to be it for the turn for the both of you.
Yep.
All right, that's cool. That's what turn 3 is for. Okay. KIA guy is down. And I think so. He went a little early. Now it's your turn because the other guy that beat you on initiative has now expired. You beat this guy in initiative. This guy's not doing anything. So yeah, now it's you out there under that tree, Mr. Michaels.
Yep. Michael's is going to run to the ladder and try and get up on the roof.
Okay. Yeah. That's going to be tough because, again, you're walking across more or less open terrain against an enemy who's right there and in an elevated position. So use that to kind of inform your decision how many dice you want to use on your movement.
Yep. I'm just going to do everything on movement. I'm not going to try and shoot.
Cool. All right.
Yeah, I'm
go for it. That's going to be
so
your
Renav
Michaels. That's going to be 2 plus agility of 5 dice.
5 dice. 3 success.
Okay, 3 successes. So if the enemy takes a shot at you, he's going to lose 3 successes. He's going to go ahead and take a shot at you. 5.
Okay.
If 5 is his basic pool, he loses 2 because of his wounds. Actually, he's about to start bleeding out. Strangely enough, nobody shoots at you as you do that.
Okay. He's trying to patch himself up.
Yeah. Take off the dice for the AK. He does not use the AK to patch himself up with, believe it or not. He's not going to do like the whole burning the gunpowder in his wound like Rambo does. So here we go. The dice check.
I would not recommend people do that, by the way. Don't burn gunpowder in it.
Yeah. I don't recommend doing anything you see in a Rambo movie. I'm going to go ahead and say
begging for disease.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and, so that's 1 success on his stabilization check. He's no longer bleeding out. Okay.
Cool.
So that's going to be it for his turn. That was your first action, second action. Everyone's pretty much done. Except for the guy who just jumped up on the ladder. He's going to get 1 extra, as 1 extra action. So, you made it to that ladder with no problem. It's going to take you some movement points, whatever, to climb up that ladder. So, yeah, we'll say that you're there for the moment.
Yep.
I'm assuming you're facing toward the enemy.
Yep. And his second action will be to actually climb up onto the roof and to look for a way down into the building.
Okay. Oh, that's right. We're still on first actions, aren't we?
Yep.
No, we're on second actions, I thought.
Sorry, that would be his second action. His second action.
What's weird for Michael is that he's one guy on the table who gets 3 actions. He now has the third action. All right, so what's he doing with his
third action will be to get up on the roof.
Okay.
And try and find a way down into the building.
It's not really drawn here, but we'll say that this little circle here is like a little hatch with a... Obviously, there has to be some way to get up there. Those guys are up there.
Yep.
There's like a little hatch with a ladder that leads down into the building there, up there in the corner.
Okay. So yeah, he'll get up on the roof and head towards that hatch.
Okay, this guy's downstairs, so don't worry about him, but you're going to walk right past this guy? Oh, that's right, he's downstairs in the damn, he's downstairs in the window, he's on the first floor. Okay, cool. forgot where my own stupid guys are. Yeah, you reach it, no problem. You'll go down next turn, but you reach it
Yep.
for now. Okay, cool. Okay, turn 3. That ends turn 2. He loses, obviously, 2 more points, so he go ahead and finishes up his, he now expires. Oh, I forgot. You left your wound behind. He left his pain behind. No, he didn't. It caught up with him. All right, let's start turn 3. All right, turn
Okay.
3. We only got 4 guys left. So, okay, the first Syrian is going to go ahead and roll his, the guy with the wound is going to go ahead and roll his he only has 2 dice in initiative now. He gets 1 success. And the guy in the doorway, who is not yet wounded, is going to go ahead and roll his 4 dice. And he sucks. He only gets 1 success. I think you're going to get initiative this time. Okay, it's wits plus tactics. No, neither of your 2 guys have any kind of wounds. So wits plus tactics for Michaels is
3.
yeah, initiative 3. Yep, so 3 dice against the 6.
2.
All right, so he's winning initiative, and Simmons has 4.
Also 2.
Cool. So you guys win initiative. All right, you guys are going first. Who wants to go first, Simmons or Michael?
Michael will go first.
Okay.
He's on the roof. He'll get his pistol out because he actually has a pistol.
Yep.
So he'll get his pistol out and descend that ladder.
All right. Anyone in the chat might be wondering. No, I do not charge actions for switching weapons. These guys have like tactical carry harnesses. That's fine. I don't. I got people who like, oh, I have to reload my magazine. That costs me like, come on. Anyway, he jumps down the ladder and he almost lands on top of where I had this guy before. Yeah, there's your tango. He's like,
cool.
You literally almost step on him as you go down the stairs or down the ladder. So you kind of step to the side. You're like, holy shit. And you ask him, are you? We didn't even come up with a name for him. Are you? What's his name? He says, yeah, that's me, man. He speaks English. Obviously, he's a translator.
Yep.
He's like, holy shit, you guys got here just in time. Now, that's first action. His first action. Second action, or the first action for this guy. That's Simmons. What's he doing?
Yep. Simmons is going to try another non-lethal carbine shot into that insurgent there.
Okay, the good news is that now you don't have to move to do it. So, The enemy has partial cover. He is going to get a check to try to evade a little bit of that. He scores only 1 success. He gets 2 for cover, 1 for 2 for cover, 1 for his success he just made. So yeah, it's only -3. Now you get +2. Sorry, your dice total. You really want to make this shot. If you don't make this shot, you've got him right next to your other guy. You're both on the first floor. This guy turns around. He's in a hell of a crossfire. That's if they don't just turn around and blow away the target. There's going to be some problems here. So, let's go ahead and count this up right. Climax of the story, folks. Here we go. He's got, I think it's 3 in. Hold on. This is Simmons. Simmons has 2 in dex and 3 in rifle, so he's got 5 dice to shoot with. Cool. Okay, 1 for the rifle. He is at point blank range, so that gives him 2. And then is he taking a?
I'll take 1 shot.
The single shot. All right, that's 2 more. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 dice total. The first.
And I can.
I'm sorry.
Can I give up some of those dice to get more damage? Is that how that works?
Yeah, if you want to do what they call a called shot, every dice you give away, you get 2 back on the damage check.
Okay. I'd like to give away 3.
Okay, so there goes 3. And again, your first 3 successes don't count.
Yep.
But you get to add 6 extra dice pool damage now to your damage pool. And what you can do is you can say, okay, I'm stopping at green, I'm stopping at yellow, or I'm stopping at red.
Yep.
As far as, calling a non-lethal shot. So you have 7 dice, and roll that against the 6.
Okay, 7 dice. So I got 4 successes.
4 successes. He had 3. 2 for cover, 1 for evasion. You barely hit him. So that's 1 for hitting him, 5 for the rifle itself, and then 6 for your called shot. 1, 2. Where the hell are the rest of my dice? They're all under my keyboard. All right, 1 for the success. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the rifle, and 4 for the called shot. Is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 dice total. Target number of 5.
Okay. First 5 is 3,
Yep.
and the 6 is 4.
All right, so that's a total of 7 levels of damage. Where were you
Yep.
stopping? Green, yellow, or...
I'm gonna stop on 6. I won't do
Alright.
organ damage.
Cool. All right, so yeah, you knock him down to internal injuries. Okay, he's going to continue to bleed out unless you get a health check to him.
Yep.
Division Homefront style. That's a really good idea. Yeah, that's Ash. That's kind of like that post-apocalyptic, or maybe not quite post-apocalyptic, like Fall of America kind of style. I've always loved that kind of scenario.
Yeah, Homefront's really good. The North Koreans, I think, are in Homefront.
Again?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, no, the Homefront Revolution. The North Koreans had the tech. They invented the internet pretty much, and so they've
for
basically
God's
taken America
sake.
over by having Silicon Valley in Pyongyang.
Oh,
It's not
shit. All right, I just lost interest.
It's a ridiculous story.
I know why they keep doing that. That when they remade Red Dawn, it was going to be, well, it can't be the Russians anymore, so they thought it was going to be China, which at least is a little credible. But, I mean, it's more credible than North Korea. They went to North Korea. Why? Because they have to sell the movie in China. So they can't have the
Now
Chinese
piss
be
off the
bad guys.
Chinese.
The best movie of that, you might actually know this movie. The best movie like that I've seen recently is basically, and I'm not kidding here, so correct me if you've seen this movie, called The Day the War Started. It's,
I have seen that. That's
Red
an
Dawn.
Australian movie.
It's Red Dawn in Australia.
Except with the Chinese.
That war could happen. And once it becomes a little bit more plausible, then it gets good, I think.
Yeah, that one's actually quite good.
Right. Yeah, I've designed, or not designed, I've written a couple, backgrounds and game examples and environments or whatever that pretty much put America on the skids, so to speak. But it's usually some kind of internal division. Something has to happen internally that causes America to split. The idea of America getting invaded, I'm not trying to sound like a, Yankee Doodle American here, but who the hell's going to do it?
I think was
Canada?
it Call of Duty Ghost Ops? Call of Duty Ghost Ops. It was the Mexicans had somehow invaded you. It's a ridiculous story.
That's just literally not possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, even the original Red Dawn, back when the Russians were super powerful, it was absurd. And it's not, again, America's invincible. It's geography. I mean, what enemy's going to reach us right now? Our Navy, you have to cross water to reach us, really. And, we have, our Navy is more powerful than the next 12 navies put together. And out of those 12 navies, 10 of them are allies. So, good luck with that. As much as I'd like to, trust me, I've shaken every pillar trying to knock America down. It is possible. It just has to come from within, which sadly is very possible. But we'll talk more about that when we decide what kind of who wants to play, how many players want to try this out, whether or not it really works, and last but not least, like what kind of scenario setup we want to do. So this thing is almost over. Let's go ahead and finish it up. He's down with 6 wounds. That was your first action? I lost track of what action we were on.
That was the first action. Everyone's
so.
first action on my side.
Okay, cool. That's what I thought.
Yep.
Oh no, I doubled your guy. That's not what I meant. Suddenly there's an extra dude in the room. Yeah, again, in an actual story, this is when you find out this guy's actually an FSB agent who puts a bullet in your chest. It was all a setup. It's a female reporter that's actually fallen desperately in love with one of the terrorists in the Stockholm Syndrome. Who knows? There's all this stuff. One of the ideas I had today was if I made up an NPC to go along with you, he was just going to vanish right when the firefight got started, like right when the blows started. Where the hell was the third guy? Where did he go? And it turns out he's one of the ISIS guys. There's all kinds of stories we can do, guys. We're just we're literally just kind of kicking the dice around, seeing if the system works. Speaking of which, he is not down -2, he's down -6. Okay, so now it's time for our first action. This guy says, holy shit. He turns around and tries to shoot at your man here.
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the rifle. Takes 2 off for his wound. And then you get an agility plus tactics check.
Okay. Tactics of...
Yeah, actually, you came down the ladder this action, right? So,
Yes.
I'm sorry, plus land, or whatever, terrain navigation. Agility plus terrain navigation, that is Michael's. Agility, terrain, 5 dice versus a 6.
Only 2.
Oh no! Hold on, guys. I'm a little bit of a computer freak out here. Close out some of the stuff so my computer stops melting. Okay. Awesome. Re-expand that. 2. All right. So I have to ignore the first 2 successes off of this check. I'm going to go ahead and take a single shot. First two successes don't count. Uh-oh. I just got 4 successes.
Ooh.
That was a 10.
2 go through.
All right, so that's 2 hits, plus the weapon does 5. Your stamina for Mr. Michaels, I think, is 2. Is 2, so my target to damage is 5. 1, 2, 3. Now you get to roll 3 dice because of your body armor. 3 dice versus
3 dice.
6.
2 saves.
All right, so that's 1 additional hit. You are now bleeding.
Yep.
So you're not going to sustain more damage from turn to turn. You're not down into the yellow yet, but you are in the point where you have to take 1 dice off of everything. Okay, this guy, I honestly don't know what the hell he's going to do. Because again, I don't have like personalities for these guys. He's obviously the leader if you haven't figured it out yet.
Yeah.
Number 1, he's pointing a pistol at you, even though he's not using a pistol. He was the guy waiting for the delivery. He's pretty much waiting for the van to show up with the camera equipment and the satellite uplink to broadcast the execution or whatever. So, okay. What the hell is he going to do? You know what? I honestly don't know. He's either going to try and bandage himself up, surrender, or take a shot back. Well, he can't bandage himself up. There's literally 2 guys in the room. So is he going to back up Is he going to surrender, or is he going to fight back? 1, 2, or 3? Back up, surrender, or shoot back. Surrender got the highest one. All right, so he kind of takes a step backwards, and he is yelling something in, I'm assuming Farsi.
Probably Farsi.
So, believe it or not, here's the thing I never say. My ISIS commander rolls charm, plus make a list of the sentences you thought you'd never say. Plus fast talk. He's the leader. We'll give him 2 in fast talk. The problem is he is internal injuries. He's down 2. He's probably babbling at the moment. He's going to try and roll 2. This is going to be his adjusted pool. He gets 1 success. He does manage to get it out. And so he's dropped the weapon. He's got his hand up. He's yelling something, and the interpreter, I don't know if you guys speak for it. We don't have language skills on these cheats yet. But the interpreter the interpreter is yelling that he's giving up. Who knows what the interpreter's saying? He's like, he's giving up, cap his ass anyway, or he's giving up, whatever. So that's everyone's first action. Now, this guy's Trevor's second action. What's he doing?
Trevor's got his pistol out, so he's going to fire at the insurgent that hasn't surrendered.
Okay. So, pistol time. Indoor pistol fire. Nice. Here we go. Impeachment that causes civil war. Yeah, there we go. Plots, and more plots. Or a knife. Yeah, Rasmus says knife. A medium or small knife is 0 weight. He could be carrying a knife right now. A large knife that does +3 damage does cost 1 point, and he has no weight for that. But yeah, we do have rules for Bowie knives. So machetes, whatever you want to call it. We are ready for that. But for now, we've got Michaels with a pistol. His medium revolver. There you go. He's gonna brain this dude out with a friggin' revolver. That's awesome. Okay. Accuracy +0. Pistol 2. Dexterity 3. So he's got 5 dice in pistol. The enemy has no cover. He's indoors and he's in the same room as you are. Unless he's hiding behind a table or something, but don't worry about that. I'm at -2 for wounds, so I'm going to roll 2 dice on my my agility plus tactics. I get 1 success. That's going to be 1 success on evasion. Okay, so it is. Are you firing the full rate of? What is the full rate of fire on a? Can you empty out that pistol in 1 turn? No.
No.
Rate of fire is 1, so it's already going to be 1. So you don't get a bonus for not shooting the full amount. So we're looking at 5 dice, pretty much just 5 dice. You are at short range, so we have 2 dice for range. So it's 5 plus 2 is 7 dice.
Okay.
Oh, no, you're not touching, so it's not point blank. You're short. So it's just 5 dice, and the first success does not count. You have to take 1 dice off your pool because you're double wounded.
Yep.
All right, so you're rolling 4 dice against a 6.
1 success.
1 success. He got 1 success on evasion. You missed.
Ooh.
So you turned around and you fired, and like some bullets hit the glass window or whatever was left in the frame, and he's good. Believe it or not. All right, that leaves this guy's second action, Mr. Simmons.
Okay,
Technically, he's still outside.
Yep, Simmons is going to enter the room and disarm and see to this surrendered guy.
Okay, give me here's a strange roll I thought I'd never hear, but we're going to do it anyway. Strength plus tactics. He's got to kick that door down.
2.
He has 5 dice.
I'm going to spend a grit just to make sure I get through this door. 3 success plus 1 goes to 4.
Okay, now there are games that say a wooden door is worth 2 damage points, a steel fire door is worth 5, a reinforced whatever, dude. You kick the door down and you're in the room now. That was pretty much your second action because you had to literally fight through the door. Boom, but you're now inside. This guy's still like, ugh. Okay, everyone has now. Oh, this guy's gonna take his second action. Oh man, he would shoot at your guy, but now his buddy is in the way. So he's going to try and take a shot over here at Simmons just come through the door.
Yep.
So, Simmons, give me an agility plus tactics check.
Okay, agility and 3 tactics. 2 success.
Okay, here's my roll back, and the first 2 successes don't count. I got exactly 2 successes. He fires his AK. That's a very chaotic room right now. A burst from the AK goes zipping back this way and kind of embeds itself in what's left of the door, and he barely missed you. Again, you felt the wind of that on your cheek. Okay, and that concludes the turn except for his third action.
Simmons.
Yep, he has the third action.
Is it Simmons or Michaels that has the third action?
Michaels has the third action.
Michaels has the third action. Okay. Well, Michaels is going to he's going to try and secure this prisoner. He's going to disarm him and make sure he's not going to turn on them.
All right, this clown is still shooting at you.
Yeah, but I can't. I don't want to shoot back over the top of the.
All right, you can do a move and then fire. You only have to take like a couple steps. But it is possible. You have to take like 1 or 2 dice off for your terrain navigation. He won't get quote opportunity fire on you because he's taken all his actions.
Okay, I'll do that then. I'll step to the side and
because of the additional points that you put into dexterity and agility, your guy is just a lot fast. Not a lot, but measurably faster than anybody else on the table right now. Okay, so how many dice are you going to put into that move?
I better put 2.
Okay, cool.
1 success.
Cool, you got it. No worries. All right. Again, the only reason, guys, we're charging him dice to actually walk across the damn room. really got, it's because he's trying to do something else while he's doing that in a combat situation, and he's wounded. He's technically been shot twice. Okay, so 2 off for your move and 2 off for your wounds. You're that is that's the guy with the pistol, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So it's your pistol -4,
Okay.
and you have exactly 1 dice left because your dex is 3 and your pistol is 2, so you have 1. And you can spend your
Yep.
last grit point, but it's up to you.
I'll spend my last grit point.
All right, that's it. After this, your character is officially out of fucks to give, so you better hit him with this one. All right.
My 1 dice.
He had 1, and you have 2 successes. The enemy gets a usual evasion check. He gets 1 success.
Okay. So, yep, I rolled a 7, so that's a hit.
All right, it's a hit plus your grit points makes 2 hits, which beats his by 1. You did hit him. That damage pistol does 3 points. So it's 1 for your net success plus 3 equals 4 dice versus a 5.
Okay.
Is the damage. Now that you hit him.
4.
All 4 were successes?
Yep, all 4 were successes.
Shit. Yeah, you literally just put him to 9. He's now going to die immediately unless we do an immediate... In fact, he's dead no matter what by the rules of the game. This is the very end of the turn. And, yeah. You shoot him through the neck. He goes down. He's technically gurgling at the moment, but he is... you couldn't save his life even if you wanted to. Because he's down at 9, and we're now at the end of the turn. And at the end of the turn, he loses 2 more health levels. If it was earlier in the turn, you could possibly save him with a really fast first aid check. But it's just going to take him 1 extra, couple heartbeats to die. But he's basically out of gas. And, yeah, that pretty much wraps things up. Because he is now officially
Awesome.
KIA in whatever the hell we're on now, turn 5. This guy has surrendered. In fact, he's like, somebody please patch me up. Because, in fact, he is at 6. He is now down 2. He's now at -8. He's continuing to bleed.
Yep.
All right, so first aid check time.
Yeah, Simmons better patch him up.
Okay, you can't use education because you're in a rush. So we're down to wits plus wounds. It's going to be 3 dice. The target number is his current health wound level, which is 8. So you have to roll
and he's
8
got
or
a
less.
first aid kit.
First aid kit, which we did not assign a rating to. I'm going to say you have one of the really good first aid kits. It goes from 1 to 3. Who knows how we're going to handle that part of it? Resource management or whatever. We might actually have like a supply depot phase before the mission where it's like, how much stuff can you fast talk? You were assigned a class 3 first aid kit. Can you get a +5? I don't know. Fast talk the supply guy. Gianna, I'm sure we'll love that scene. All right, so just to make the story run a little smoother, we'll say you have a really good first aid kit. So you have, that was Simmons, right? 1 in wits, 2 in wounds, that's 3, plus 3 for the first aid kit is 6. However, your target number, because he's in bad shape, he's now going into shock, is 8. So 6 dice, and you need an 8 or better, at least.
2.
2 successes. All right, you've stabilized him, and you had 1 left over, so that gets him up to 7 organ damage. So there you go. Now it's time to. You've got the tango. You've got all the targets eliminated. As far as getting the hell out of here, well, that's going to be tough because you have to. Are you going to try and your target is unwounded, so that's no problem. Are you going to try and get this guy, this prisoner, out of here, or?
Yep. Yeah,
Okay,
I want to try and exfiltrate the prisoner.
That's 7 miles or so, and this guy is literally dropping his liver on the sand. Again, he's at 7 organ damage. So unless you can get the helicopter here, I don't think he's really moving very far.
There's nothing more I can do to patch him up.
No, you had one. It's one.
Shot.
It's 1 shot per wound. Yeah, it's 1 roll per wound.
Okay.
Until
Can't
it gets
really
to an
just
actual
leave
aid
him there.
station. All right, then somebody get on the comm and see what you can do.
Yeah, I better get Michaels on the comms while Simmons stays with this guy.
Warm up that fast check because this guy was not in the best of moods when you left him, the helicopter guy.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he was not. Plus, you're making him fly northwest where he wanted to. He's like, oh boy. All right, so first, that's going to be wit plus comp, 5 dice.
Okay, whip plus calm, 5 dice. 3 success.
All right, you definitely got him on the hook. He's like, all right, are you at the exfiltration point? I
Slight
mean,
hiccup.
there's a code for it. He's like, confirm, are you at, LZ's whiskey or something.
Negative, negative. We entered the building, eliminated hostiles, and we've got ourselves a POW.
Okay, so where am
So
I
we're
picking
gonna
you
need
up?
we're gonna need exfil at
Advise new exfiltration point over.
new exfiltration point at, and then I'll read out the coordinates of where I am.
Okay, there's a bit of a pause on the line. Okay, Michaels was the guy talking to the guy.
Yep.
So, charm plus tactics. No, that doesn't make sense. Charm plus fast talk. Honestly, this is actually cool.
Yep.
This is actually one of your character's strong suits. You have to pretty much con this guy to, come to the new area. Because he may not have fuel for it. He's going against orders. He's going to have no fly zones. If he flies too far to the northwest, he's going to piss off the Russians. The last thing this guy wants, probably the one thing he's more afraid of than Russian SAMs, is the State Department waiting for him on the friggin' tarmac when he lands.
Yep.
So, yeah, I'm going to give a grand total of 4 dice in difficulty or whatever. Turn on Mr. Webcam. And you're rolling your 5 dice in communication plus, fast talk plus charm.
Yep.
I
Charm.
would say use a grit point, but you're out of grit points.
Oh yeah. I got 4.
4 successes. I got 2 successes to counter that, and the general difficulty of the situation. He says, Roger that, acknowledged. Secondary exfiltration route, he gives the coordinates. We're going to be there for exactly 1 mic, and then we are bingo fuel. We are out of here. Do not be fucking late. Out. He doesn't even wait for acknowledgement. All right, so the chopper comes in. You get on the chopper, and you guys head home. I didn't really have anything else
Sweet.
planned, short of an SA-7 shooting down the helicopter. Yeah. Let me take a look at the chat here. Are players creating multiple characters or just 1 per player? Are sheets going to be on Discord? And depends on interest and when people can play. All right, so yeah, there's a bunch of questions here, guys.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, so first of all, because science teacher, yes, next weekend I am off. That's why we played a big Dark Star game yesterday. We launched a new Dark Star campaign yesterday, and we launched this thing today. It was a hell of a weekend. I'm still not done. And it's almost 8 o'clock at night here because, again, I am going to be out of town next weekend. So I wanted to get at least some things, some irons in the fire before I came back. Based on the success of yesterday's Dark Star game and this game, I think it went pretty well. And dude, this is not the time to spare my feelings. I mean, seriously, if something didn't work for you, or anybody in the chat, now is the time. I know a couple things I want to change already. So, based on that, I have some time off coming up. I'll be out of town, but I'll use some of that time off to kind of go through a lot of this material and, straighten things out. You guys let me know. Oh, wow, it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning over there. Okay, guys, seriously, if you guys are interested in what you see so far, let me know. And what I can do is, let's see, this is on YouTube. I'm trying to think of a good way you can reach me. If you're not on Tabletop. Ash, are you on tabletop.com or no? If not, we can talk shortly, maybe a whisper in Twitch or something like that, and we can talk about exchanging email information. I don't want to ask you to give your email information here on the open server or whatever. Everyone wants the sheets. Yeah, I don't want to give out the sheets yet because, again, they're in flux. We have to add the animal handling ideas. I want to add some language design on here. I want to straighten out the difference between savvy, wit, and education. There are some things I want to work on here. But what I will do is, of people who are seriously interested in trying this out, I mean seriously. Okay, awesome, Ash. I see you. I see your message. Awesome, thank you. Let me know, And what we'll do is we'll somehow figure out a way where we can exchange email information, and I'll send you some sheets on this when they get a little bit more finalized. I'm talking about this game is 2 days old, and we're already at this point. So give me another 2 or 3 days at the most once we exchange email information, and I'll be able to send you something good. You know what? The hell with it. I am at James Johnson Writer. Same name on OTT. Okay, never mind. Ash, I will find you on Tabletop, and awesome. I'll find you on Tabletop, and I'll send you a PM on Tabletop. Awesome, cool. And in that PM, I'll have my full email address, and yeah, if you're interested, you can ping me via email your email address, and then I'll send you some character sheets. Again, it won't be next week. It might be the week afterwards, depending. Can you post them on the project page? Yeah, that's a good idea. We're definitely going to start a project on this. I also want to bounce this off Warren. So if Warren wants to, again, I don't think he wants to participate, but in case he wants to feature it or something, who knows? I don't know. I know that modern role-playing games is a thing he's really into. But for now, okay, that's the end of the mission. You get back. There's the DIA guy. He can't believe you made it. He says, I promised you a beer. Oh, wait, one guy is, bleeding a little bit. Yeah, you slap a field dressing on it. You're only like at one level of bleeding. You're only on 2. It's fine. You won't feel you won't feel by the 3rd beer, although it's a Iraqi beer, so it might be the 4th beer. You'll be fine. Okay, so XP would go to let's see. We've been playing now here for holy crap. We've been streaming for almost 4 hours. We were talking for the first hour, so we were gaming pretty much for 3 hours. We'll say like 4 experience points. So that would be 2 in each category, is how that works. Again, this is to keep our characters from turning into little miniature seals, like right off the bat. Okay, and then, how experience points get spent. We don't have to do this now, but just to kind of go over it super fast for the chat. I mean, I don't even know. I would be happy to see these characters continue, but it's up to Elisar whether or not he even wants to keep going with these guys. XP must be split evenly between tactical and street. Okay? Attributes. A new box costs the new rating times 2. A skill. The new rating times 1. So it's that easy. You've got, you want to get a dot in financial, that costs you 1 point. You want to get a dot in government military investigation, that's going to cost you 2. Whatever the new rating is going to be, that's how many dots it costs. If you're up here for an attribute, it's the new rating times 2. Yep. If you're going to buy a light blue, whatever the cost is, it's going to be +1. So say you have 3 dots in something and you want the 4th one, it would cost you 5 points. Because now you're in like advanced training, that kind of thing. And if that 6th dot is pretty much going to be 12. It's going to be the new rating times 2, not +1. That's like super advanced. You're now literally one of the top 20 people on the planet when it comes to whatever that role is. It's going to be a long time, I think, before anybody hits 6 dots in something. And again, double all that for attributes. So the 6th dot in an attribute costs 24 experience. We just earned 4 experience points in this session. You'd have to go through 6 of these sessions before you could buy that 1 extra box. But again, if you have like 6 dexterity, you're literally like Bruce Lee. 6 dots in strength, you're one of these crazy Swedish guys that can pick up a truck. 6 dots in intelligence, you're Stephen Hawking. You're literally one of the top people on the earth. Once in a generation kind of a thing.
There's a few guys in the chat. Because science teacher asking for Novus Templar. No, you'd normally just make 1 character sheet. Jim just sent me a thing, and I think the email was like, maybe make 1 or 2 up for tomorrow. So I did 2.
Oh yeah, I mean,
normally
it
it'd be 1
depends
per
on how
player.
many people want to play. So like what Gianna was saying before, we have 4 to 6 players would be, or 4 to 6 characters is a good number. If we only have 3 players, then okay, everyone can make up 2 characters. Or if we have 4 or 5 people who want to play, okay, everyone make up 1 character. To kind of keep things manageable or whatever. So as far as how many characters each person can make up, that literally is going to be up to how many people want to play.
Yep. And the blue skills are elite skills, so you can't have more points in a blue skill than you have in one of the others in that box.
Yeah,
Right?
there's no
Like,
extra.
you can't be a better surgeon than and know nothing about
first
sickness
aid.
and drugs and that sort of
Yeah,
thing.
you can't have 3 dots in surgery and only 1 dot in first aid. That literally doesn't make sense.
Or you can't have a doctorate but not have a bachelor's degree in science or law or economics or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, that doctorate has question marks after it because it's like, okay, this is like a free slot.
Yep.
If you want to know astrophysics for some reason, go for it. It's great character background. I don't know what use it's going to be, but if
It
you
could be a
want,
medical doctorate or something.
yeah, if you want to get like some very very serious skill or whatever, we'd make up a use for it. Or again, I mean, I've had characters that had skill in surfing or whatever. It's just part of his backstory. Am I throwing away points? Yes. But do I have a cool character? Yes. So that's all good. Is how that's how those blue skills work. Yeah, and then the other discussion that we can have, Ash, I'll find you on tabletop. I promise. In fact, let me go ahead and I'll look for you in a second. Same name on tabletop. Space is the future. Yep. They're the oh shit skill levels. People will never reach that level. Well, you never know. People might. I doubt anyone's going to get 6 dots in desert survival, but you never know. He's like one of those LRDG guys or SIG guys that they leave him out in the desert and he doesn't walk out for 6 years, and turns out he's been fine on his own urine and scorpions for 10 years or some crazy shit. Yeah, but anyway, you guys fly back to what was that, El Had in Iraq? Yep, or Al Hadir over here in Iraq. You're fine. You've got one guy that's going to spend a couple days in the aid station, maybe get a light duty chit for a couple days. But yeah, you recovered the tango, and you even brought back a prisoner that can be interrogated. Great.
Awesome.
PhD in finance, Jack Ryan, anybody, right? There you go. All right, guys. So I'm not sure who's still on the chat. If Nova Templar is still on here, I know he was interested. Nothing is going to start immediately because, again, I have to take a week off. I'm going to be out of town for a while, and I want to rework these sheets a little bit. But if people are interested, it looks like everybody on the site or on the stream here is part of On Tabletop. If anybody here is not on Tabletop, let me know now. Otherwise, find me on Tabletop. Send me a PM. Let me know if you're interested, and we'll get something going. Okay? And when I know how many people are interested in who they are, what I'll do is I'll probably set up a project thread over on Tabletop for this, and we can talk about what kind of mission we like to play. Formal military, if so, who are we fighting for? Doesn't have to be the United States. What was the other question? Some sort of PMC, private corporation kind of thing, or just straight out post-America or post-apocalyptic or something like that. It doesn't have to be like nuclear war or zombie apocalypse. It could be, just literally like the next Dark Age or something like that. Something like that where we have a lot more freedom. Those are going to be our 3 basic choices. And once we go there, then we'll set up a game. I'll set up like an actual real story, and we'll go through it. And then what kind of hours people can play. I'm cool with like a 4-hour session that we pretty much had here. I don't know if that's cool with everybody. What times work best for everybody? Who wants in? Who wants out? I'm cool. I'll work with anybody we got. But I do have to know. And once I know, we can start working on things.
Ash has just asked OTT names. So Jim's Oriskany.
I am Oriskany.
Because science teacher is Glades Runner.
Yep.
I believe.
That's
I'm Alyssa 2590. And then everyone else is pretty much using the same name.
Templar is Templar 007.
Yep.
Awesome. All right, guys. Unless anyone else had any more questions. Oh, you know what? Before we sign off, serious, and again, I mean that from the bottom of my heart. How did this play? Did it have enough storytelling stuff into it? Did it have enough?
The storytelling was fine. Yeah, I like the storytelling. Yeah, like you said, just getting those skills a little bit more fine-tuned, getting them matched up, because terrain navigation seemed to come up a lot. That was
Yeah, I got to come up with like a stealth. I'll figure something out there. There's something going on.
Maybe even a difference between navigating terrain and navigating through buildings and things like that. But then you don't want to get too many skills. Yeah.
Well,
I quite enjoyed it actually. So
cool, awesome. Like there's a couple. I'm not that where if I added like a fourth row, I think that would be okay. I don't know if I want to go too much further beneath that.
Yep.
As far as but that's check it out. Once I add a fourth row, we're talking about 20 skills.
Yeah.
Could we do that? Yes, easily. Again, we already have the whole animal handling thing. There's a couple right there. There's the language thing. That might be its own school. In fact, it probably would be its own school. Would be languages. Boom. That's half of it. Right. That's a quarter of it right there. Field ops versus I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I'll figure something else out. Tactical movement or something like that, where we could have like a urban stealth or maybe stealth or maybe evasion. I'll call it like stealth and evasion, and it'll be like dodge. Dodge versus firearms, dodge, not dodge, evasion versus firearms, dodge versus whatever, like you were saying, urban movement, wilderness movement. We could figure it out. And again, all
Oh
those
yeah. Yeah.
skills within a certain school are related. Once you have three in anything in that school, you pretty much have one dot in everything. Because we're not putting veterinarian medicine next to basket weaving next to firearms. These
Yeah.
these these blocks of schools are all tightly put together for a reason. And the reason they have those blue skills at the bottom there is because look, that's like the apex of that particular field of study. You're not able to
Mm.
get to that until you have at least some dots in something else. Is the general jive there.
Yep.
All right, cool. So yeah, I'm pretty much sure that I know for a fact I don't want to add any more attributes, but I might rename to clarify what these three actually do. I might just make this one like people skills or something. I don't know. I'll figure something out. But then adding one additional row of skills on the bottom might be okay, and that would give me more space underneath here to put in stuff like backgrounds, what allies your guy has, who do you know in the DIA, like your boy, we'll come up with a better name for him, but Bob Jones over there in the DIA, he might be a contact now, you know.
Yep.
Maybe this interpreter is a friend of yours now that you saved his life, If we continue the game in, say, Syria, would anyone, maybe you run across him again, maybe you can, like, contact him to be on your next mission. Hey, buddy, you owe me one. That kind of stuff the storyteller system used to track via the backgrounds section of the character sheet, which was actually the most interesting part, if you ask me. So that might give me a little bit more room in there. Cool. Yeah, but for a game that is 48 hours old, actually a little bit more now, for a game that is 50 or 55 hours old, lunchtime on Friday, I said, you know what, I think I might want to play a modern role-playing game. I think we're okay. But the firefight part didn't get too bogged down or anything like that.
No, it was really quick and easy.
It's more detailed and tactical and slow and nuanced than other role-playing games like this. And the reason being is because those other role-playing games have I shift to Krynos form in a werewolf, and I throw a fireball, and I summon a demon, and so that's where that extra complication and that extra layer of depth comes from. We're obviously not dealing with that here, so I wanted to go a little bit deeper into. We're not counting bullets. I'm not going to have
Yep.
you make a knife sharpening check before the battle or whatever. But I did want to have a little bit of technical whatchamacallit in there, and it seems like we have plenty of space for items. I was afraid we were going to run out of space for items, but no, we're good. Even if we get into the zero weight stuff, binoculars, silencers, bipods, little things like that.
Yep. That's cool.
Yep. All right, cool. So, awesome. Ash, I will find you on Tabletop. Novus Templar, Rasmus, I already know where you guys are. I already obviously know where Because Science Teacher is. I know where Dylan is. That's 4 of us. Who all is in this chat? We probably have a couple bots after that. Another VV viewer. Okay, that's probably a bot. If you're not a bot, I apologize. All right, cool. So, yeah, I will be in touch with everybody. Again, it's going to be a little while for me to, work on this thing. But if it went pretty well, and I got some great ideas for new skills, thanks to Gianna and thanks to Ralph for that. And yeah, I think we're pretty much all set. So, any last thoughts, Dylan, before I let you go, or
No, thanks for the game, Jim. I thought it was really good.
are you thinking about continuing these characters? I mean, obviously, if we're going to be redesigning the game underneath them, you're going to be allowed to switch things around. Or
I might make a new character though, just because these are literally. I think I took an hour to do both of these, so I think I might sit down with one and really think about it.
Okay, cool. Well, I'll tell you what. If you do, what I'll do is I'll port their experience points over to you. So tonight was not in vain, so to speak. And awesome. That's what you get for being on the ground floor, man. All right, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream. Thanks very much for coming out, everybody. Thanks everybody for supporting the Sitrep. And like I said, we will be in touch soon. I'll find you guys on Tabletop. I'll start a thread on this on Tabletop. Might not be tomorrow. It might be Tuesday because I've got some other threads I want to support. And again, I want to bounce this off Warren behind the scenes just to let him know what's coming. I don't think he's going to want to really do anything with it, but I know that Moderns RPGs is a thing. He's talked to me about it before. So I just want to give him a little bit of a right of first refusal, if nothing else. So yeah, keep an eye out for it. And other than that, thanks very much for coming out, Ash. And I will talk to everybody later on. All right, I'm going to go ahead and end the meeting, Dylan. So again, thanks very much for helping me play test, and I'll be in touch with you during the week. All right?
Awesome. Thanks, Jim.
All right, take it easy, everybody.
Are you looking to become a Tier 1 operator in the gaming world? Elevate your games with Black Site Studio Terrain.